Hello everybody, welcome back to another stream. We are here in XP12 and we have an amazing aircraft here for you guys today. We have the Boeing 747 Classic from Felis, of course, and this is indeed the new freighter version, which should be coming out this week at some point. And let me tell you, it is a beauty to fly. I mean, just look at it. What an aircraft. I've been flying it the last few days. Really, really, really been enjoying it. I have got myself slightly addicted, I'll be honest. I can't stop flying this aircraft. It is so, so good. For now, I'm just going to hop into the cockpit because it's a little bit quieter here. And as you can see, it's a very overcast, gloomy day here in Taipei, Taiwan. So I do want to say a very, very big thank you to Felis for providing me with the aircraft early to check out and to stream. So this is a pre-release version. That is important. It's a pre-release version at the minute. And it was given to the channel completely free by Felis, which is really, really nice. Of course, doesn't affect my opinions on the product. I do genuinely think this is one of, if not the best airliner in the sim. I really do. So let's say hello to everybody. Welcome everyone. The Flying Scotsman, welcome. Yes, so it's not on the store at the minute, but it will be on the X-Plane store and Sim Market. I believe when it releases later this week. Sim Drive Fly, welcome. How's it going, my friend? Polder Pilot, welcome. How's it going? AJ, welcome. How's it going? Plane will be out soon, not soon. TM, yes, absolutely. Yeah, we're looking at this week, which is really, really exciting. Sim Crush Flyer, welcome. How's it going? Got Nightbot here as well. And Calum, welcome. Can't wait to fly this thing. Can you change the tape to the other style? Want to see more? Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. I will do that. So here we have the, what you'd probably going to be used to if you've flown the passenger variant, the standard gauges. But new in this aircraft, because of course, we are using the CF6 engines rather than the Pratt & Whitneys. We can put the, where is it? Am I just being a little bit blind? Here we are, tape. So we can have the tape engine gauges. As you can see now, I'm actually not a fan of these. I'll be honest. I flew the first flight with them. I just think the gauge is a little bit easier to read quickly and see. But we're going to use the tapes. Of course, nothing to do with Felis. Felis has implemented it really well. This is just the design in the first place. I don't particularly like personally. But we will be using these today. So, Calum, thank you very much for reminding me. Right. So we've got some rain. Lovely. Now I spent a few hours making some orthos. For this area for Taipei, and the weather's terrible. We're not going to see much, if any, of the orthos, but there you are. At least we have them anyway. So we're gonna start off the stream. We are gonna take a look at the aircraft. I'll take you around. I'll show you the cargo bay, etc. And I'll show you the outside model as well. But first, what I want to do is just do a little bit of the sort of initial prep. So some of the flight planning, for example. I thought I'd do it on stream. I know a lot of people are going to sort of want the aircraft, but maybe are a bit, frightened to fly it because of its complexity. And yes, it does look very complex. And it is challenging. But that's the fun of it. So I thought we'll do a bit of the flight planning. Really quick. So I do have a flight sort of set up, but I'm going to show you how what I do, what I manipulate here in SimBrief to get it to a point that is, usable for me. So we are Air Hong Kong 818 today. We're going from RCTP Taipei to Hong Kong. It's a beautiful, beautiful approach. And then I've got the aircraft there. I've got the CF6, as you can see. So this stuff I don't really change. Runway, arrival runway, that's just set on wind, stuff like that. That's not an issue. But, when it comes to here, of course, we don't have a modern GPS system. We are using the SIVA INS today. Looks like hell at first, but once you get the hang, it's really easy. It's basically the glass cockpit plane. It's just more systems. Exactly. That it's just less things are automated, and you got to do things yourself. But actually, it gives you a real appreciation for what's going on in the background of even a modern airliner. The way it works principally, other than the navigation, in terms of the aircraft systems, are actually, not too different to an A320, or for example, or a modern 747. It's really nice. The Couchman, welcome. This is the Felis 747, not the FPS. It's going to be the Felis. Yeah, so we're going to be using the SIVA. So, how do I sort of manipulate the route so that it works? Because as you can see, we've got a load of waypoints here. Now, we have a limit of 9 waypoints in the SIVA. Of course, we can add more, but a lot of these are just waypoints along the same sort of track because they're airways, right? And we can't put an airway in. We can only put a waypoint. So these are kind of redundant in a way, some of these waypoints here. So I actually just, if we look at this departure here, but Novas, Decoy, and then where's Charlie? There's Charlie. So this is the start of the flight plan after the sort of SID. The SID we'll worry about later. So here we have Charlie, and then it's going on the T3 airway to MKG. All of these waypoints in between are redundant. So straight up, what I'm going to do is take the airway out, and I'm going to go direct. So take all of these waypoints out. Now watch what happens when I click Analyze Route here. Suddenly, we have pretty much the same route, but way less waypoints to input. This is going to make our lives a lot easier, particularly when it comes to the SIVA. And you want to have as least points, as possible. It just makes your life a bit easier. So now we have this sort of sorted. We can worry about the arrival and departures. How are we going to fly those? It's worth looking. So we get our trusty Navigraph. Now for this aircraft, I'm going to go ahead and say Navigraph is pretty much, well, almost compulsory. Charts are so important with this aircraft. So what we're going to do is let's look at the departure first of all. So we can go here to RCTP. We can open the airport, go to charts, and then we'll go to SID. Now the SID we're going to be doing. This is so useful as Nav has kept me away from the classics. I'm glad. This is why I did it, because it's sort of something I didn't see is the planning and a bit more of the prep. There's a little bit more prep than normal. You can't just hit generate on SimBrief, input it into your, FMC and you're good to go. It's there's a little bit more work, but it's fun because you feel like you're getting to the aircraft. You're doing your flight plan just like pilots would in real life. You're sort of briefing yourself on what you're gonna do, and then you go ahead and do it. It's such an immersive aircraft and such an immersive sort of process that I've just really been enjoying it. So it's going to give us the Chal 1 Alpha. Okay, so let's take a look at this SID. Now, unfortunately, this SID is the is pretty much fully an RNAV SID. There's no VORs and NDBs on this SID. Free Fox, welcome. Just had INS waypoints along the flight like they do. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm going to do for the SID. So if you have a VOR, if you have a DME, and you can track the radials, etc., that's really useful because then you don't need to put those points into the INS, right? Today, these aren't, these are just RNAV waypoints. They're not VORs, they're not NDBs, so we can't use any traditional sort of navigation methods where we use a VOR or an NDB or something like that. We're going to need to put these points in to the SIVA. So really, I was just looking here to say, do I need these points in my SIVA? Because if these were based on VORs, for example, I'll use a VOR and then switch to SIVA later on in the flight. But no, I'm going to need to be on SIVA pretty much straight away. If I read the departure here, so it's the Charlie 1 Alpha. You can see it's direct TP060 Novas Decoy Summer Charlie max 210 knots to establish track to Novas. Cross summer at or above 4,000, which is here. So, I'm going to brief later on what I'll do for the, for the route, but essentially what I'm going to be doing here is taking off. My first waypoint in the SIVA is going to be Novas, then Decoy, Summer, then Charlie, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off and then make a left turn. Essentially, is the plan. And what we'll do is we'll make a left turn and then we'll go direct Novas from wherever we hark. I'm not going to put this TP060 waypoint in because we take off in heading mode, and trying to get it to go from heading to INS and do a direct to in that short space of time is difficult. So I'm just not going to have this waypoint here. Okay, so that's the departure sorted. These are just going to be very simply put in the INS. Okay. Let's look at the Hong Kong arrival then. So, and I'll show you why I've done this before I filed the flight plan. Okay, I'll let you know in a second. If we go to charts, is the Abbey 4 Alpha, the Abbey 4 Alpha. So we can go to star and Abbey 4 Alpha again. RNAV arrival. So again, for this one, as you can see, not based on VORs, they're just RNAV waypoints, which means we need to use our SIVA for these. Now, ATC might give us vectors. That will help us a lot. If ATC give us vectors right around here, perfect. That would help. If they don't, I'm going to have these waypoints in the SIVA ready to go for the flight. Okay. Again, if you had VORs, those are really useful. Now, when I stream this tomorrow, I'll pick a route with VORs and stuff so we can do some VOR navigation. Okay. Free Fox not allowed to fly SID Star with INS only VOR and DB. So I'm not sure about the rules because obviously this aircraft isn't really used anymore, especially not in larger airports. So I'm not sure what the exact rules are, but what I'm trying to show is how would I fly the RNAV Star with the SIVA INS is really what I'm trying to show. I'm not sure what's now allowed and what's not allowed in real life. But I'm just trying to show how to fly this Star. Now, if you're not on VATSIM, if you're not on, any ATC network, realistically, you can just vector yourself in. That's a really nice, easy way to do it. Vector yourself, put yourself on a nice downwind, intercept the ILS, boom, you're good to go. If you want to, stick to the Star, stick to your arrival or the departure, then this is how you can do it. Again, you can go direct from Mosul to Limes if you wanted to. If you're offline, you can do whatever you want. If you're on VATSIM, they might expect you to take this routing. You might even, if you say, look, I'm in a 7.4 Classic, I don't have RNAV waypoints, I'm using a SIVA system, can I get vectors? I'm sure they will accommodate that for you. Again, I'm just showing if you do want to fly this this arrival, it is possible with the SIVA. It is possible. So again, all these points are going to be going into my SIVA. Okay. And my approach, let's see, what we were doing, 07 center, weren't we? So we're going to do, of course, we can't do an RMP, anything like that. So we are going to be doing the ILS 07 center, which is this one. Now, the transition will be Limes, and we're going to have Limes in our, Limes is going to be in our SIVA, okay? Now, again, unfortunately, this approach doesn't have VORs. There's a VOR here, but it's not really used for this initial approach in the transition, etc. So, what I'm going to do is, essentially, when I get to Limes, I'm going to switch to heading mode, and essentially use this 338 and go heading mode. And then roughly 7 miles out from Limes, I'll make the right turn, 036. I'm not going to be super accurate. Yes, I might turn a mile or a mile early or a mile late. I'm going to make the turn and basically intercept the ILS. That's not too difficult, but that's my plan. Okay. And I just wanted to show you that because the next step, so I'm happy with this flight plan. Okay, I'm going to hit generate and let that generate. Okay. All right, now we have the flight plan here, good to go. If I click view PDF, this is really useful, okay, for the SIVA, and this is sort of what I've been doing on my test flights. So we got our standard OFP. I'm going to scroll down until we get to our sort of individual waypoints. Now here is where we have our latitude and longitude for the for the Siva. So this is a page we're going to be using to input our waypoints. Essentially, you can't input the waypoint Novas, like you can in a standard FMC. You do need to put the latitude and longitude in. So let's see. I'm going to just load Navigraph on my tablet, and I've got it running on my PC as well. So what I can do is if I import from SimBrief now, there we are, and we'll select the ILS 07 center via Limes. Okay, so we have our flight. Now, if we go over here, like I said, I'm going to ignore this waypoint for now. Okay, I'm not going to be using this waypoint. The first waypoint that needs to go into the INS is Novas. Okay, so here's Novas. I'm going to just annotate this in red and put a 1. Okay, now remember we have 9 waypoints that we can potentially use. We have 9 slots in our Siva. So I can then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. Okay, so these are my 9 waypoints. But as you can see, I have 2 more points I need to put into my Siva, which is this HH511 and Limes, which is all the way over here. HH511 and Limes. Okay, so this entire routing we can put in on the ground and we'll be good to go. This last waypoint here and this last waypoint here, we're going to need to input in flight. Now, I'll show you how to do that, of course, once we get in the air. But what I like to do is I'm just going to block this off with a different color. So now I know this is my stop point, and I have waypoint 1, waypoint 2 again. Okay. So this makes it really easy because, 1, I can refer to this and I can say, if I need to go direct to, say, ATC says direct Ilato, now I can see exactly which waypoint I need to go to. Because the way you go direct is you put waypoint 0 to 6. It just makes it really easy when you're in flight. And you'll see what I mean later on. And then what we need to do is once we've used up at least the first 2 waypoints here, we can input the final 2. And it will just cycle again. Okay. Whoops. It will cycle again. So what my plan is there's a nice long stretch here, 143 nautical miles, where what I will do is in this point, I will input these 2 points into the Siva, okay? And it'll all make sense as we go through the stream here. I can assure you. It seems difficult at first. I found it really difficult, or I thought it was going to be difficult, but then I flew the aircraft a few times, and you know what? It's a joy to fly, and doing this stuff sort of manually is a lot of fun. So I have SimBrief on my tablet, so I don't need it up on here. I'm going to leave this up, close annotations. Now I know which waypoint is which, and it's just really easy to look through, essentially. So, INS is real pro stuff. It is, but it's a lot of fun. Are we at least updating via VOR? Not this flight. I won't do any updating this flight because it's such a short flight. I don't really need to. The drift doesn't sort of warrant, because I've already done this as a test flight. The drift doesn't warrant an update. But tomorrow I'm flying this again. We'll do an update and we'll do some triple mixing and stuff like that. Tomorrow is what we'll do. I feel like if I start doing updating and triple mixing, and it might be a little too much, because I really want to say to people that yes, it's a complex aircraft, but it's so much fun. So don't let that stop you from getting this thing, honestly. So let me move this off to the side. I will be using that later. I'm just going to put the route into Nightbot, and then we will be good to go here. But yeah, I just wanted to show you the preparation I do beforehand, because I know a lot of people were asking me about that. So, alrighty, let's go ahead and take a look at the LTN. You make a good point. You make a good point. Well, you know what? We'll do a poll. If people want to see the LTN tomorrow, we'll do LTN. If people want to see SIVA, we'll do SIVA. Either way, I want to make sure I have a route with some VORs to do some VOR flying. I did Alicante to Seville in Spain earlier today, and that was a lot of fun because there was a lot of VOR navigation. Um, and I was preparing myself for a DME ARC arrival, which was going to be interesting, and then ATC gave me vectors. So, all right. So let's take a look. Of course, we have the freighter version of the 747 here. And as you can see from the cockpit, the modeling and the texture work is absolutely top notch. It really is. Now, bear in mind, I'm very VRAM limited on my PC and I have my texture settings down at medium. So these will look even better on your system if you're running, more VRAM, if you're running a higher texture setting. But for me, these look really, really nice. Really nice, especially when you consider like this the overhead panel, the lower pedestal, all of this stuff, and then a huge engineer panel. There's a lot of texture work to be done in here. And look at all those circuit breakers. Yeah, really, really, really nice. Fantastic job. And we knew this from the passenger variant. It is very good. This new tutorial on updating INS via VOR. I've been flying this thing for a while, still don't know how. So, Kaylin, what I actually did, and actually for everyone, the way I learnt this aircraft over the past week, two methods. One, I read literally all the manuals that come with the aircraft. I'll show you some later. They're really, really good. I highly recommend you read all of them. There's an INS dedicated one. There's a fuel management one. It's really, really good. So, Caleb, the updating is shown on the INS tutorial documentation. The other way I learned was, I read all the documentation first. I then went and watched all the reflected reality videos, who has done a fantastic job on those tutorials. So between those two sources, I got a pretty good grasp of what to do. And then there's also a PDF that comes with the aircraft called Normal Procedures. And it literally it's just a PDF and it explains the whole flight step by step. So I had that on in my second monitor while I was doing the my first flight. After that, now I've got the flows and stuff pretty much down. So let's head out of the cockpit here, and there's obviously a bit of a sort of cabin area, a little bit for, I guess, relief pilots and stuff like that, anyone sort of traveling with you. But of course, the main thing we want to see is, now if I can find the click spot, is the we can go down into the cargo hold. So let's head down into here. A very, very nicely modeled cargo hold, by the way. Really, really nice. They've done a fantastic job, and we'll come down here again when we're loading the aircraft. Now there are controls over here as well for the huge door, as you can see, which is really nice. And essentially the switches individually don't work, but there's a big click spot there and a big click spot there to open and close the door. So it actually makes it quite easy to do so, and I'll show you how to do that, because you got to get your power set up in the correct configuration to open the door. Do you know the ICAO for Kaitak on Navigraph VHHH doesn't work? No idea. I'm sure someone else will know for sure. So, did I get my Navigraph on my tablet? I didn't. Let me get that going. I'm going to start Volanta here real quick. Get that going as we showcase this aircraft. So Volanta's going. We got same tensions for ATC today, and we should be good to go. Alrighty. All right. So let's head back up to the cockpit, and we can take a little bit of a look around. Hopefully you can still hear me okay. But yeah, the modeling, the texture work, even outside, is really, really nice. I mean, if we go here, the nose modeling, the fuselage modeling, and texture work has been done really nice. It's a bit difficult to show, but they've done a fantastic job. The wings, again, look great. The engines look really nice as well. You can see they're windmilling. These are the General Electric CF6 engines, as you can see, rather than the Pratt & Whitney's. Hey, Adam, welcome. How's it going, my friend? Yeah, really, really nice overall. They've just done a fantastic job. And like I said, it'll probably look a lot better on your setups as well. Look at the texture work there as well. Just beautiful. Really, really nice. You can see we've got the elevators drooped there as well. Overall, a very nice looking aircraft inside and out. So let's get started here. So in the EFB, we have Avitab, which is Avitab. We all know it. There's load calculator. I will come back to that in a minute. Refuel, I'll come back to that. Payload, come back to that. INS, you can, if you don't want to sit there and put your present position in and stuff like that, you can just do it via the EFB. I'm going to do it manually. But you can, there's a couple of options here to open a flight plan. So you can import a flight plan as well, which will help if you're just getting started, potentially. And there's a nearest DMEs option, which can help when you're doing some updating. You're updating your SIVA, which is useful as well. And we'll showcase that probably tomorrow when we actually do some SIVA updating if we're not using the LTM. Now, here's the ground menu, and it's actually just really simple, really nice if you want your ground stuff. So, again, with the voice lines, it's actually really quite immersive. I do really like it. So we can set the chops.
Put the chocks on.
So I'm going to put the chocks on, and then in a few seconds, they're going to respond to us. Give them a second here. He says they do take the time to put the chocks. He says. I'm sure they will in a second. And we can connect the GPU as well.
Ground power.
There we are. All right, so they do normally get back to you. Guess in this case they haven't for whatever reason. But we got chocks, we got GPU. Just because the parking brake is not pressured at the minute, so we do want chocks indeed. Hey Stan, welcome. How's it going, my friend? Glad to have you here. So that is the ground. There is a fast load option, which is as you would suggest, you can scroll here and adjust stuff on the fly. Checklist, we'll come back to that. Really, really important and very well done. Performance calculations, again, we'll come back to this later on because we are going to use this, of course. Save load. Now, there is a save load feature, of course, and there's also autosave now as well. And I can say with absolute certainty, the autosave works really well. I had to use it 3 or 4 times, not due to any issue with the aircraft. I had a different issue with the scenery, which was causing a CTD. And the Felis autosave worked every time. Just like the TOLUS, it worked every time. So really happy with that. Really happy with the autosave. It definitely saved me. Aircraft state. So you can obviously change your oil quantities, hydraulic quantities, stuff like that. Your brake thickness, all that good stuff. And then there's sim pause, which will pause your sim, and you can set... so you can set it to pause in a particular time. You can set an airport and then a radius from the airport. So as you get close to the airport, you can automatically pause. And you can use this effectively as a pause at top of descent sort of feature, which is nice. And then options. So let's very quickly go through all of these. Nose wheel use. This is how you control a nose wheel. So if you have a tiller. If you have a rudder pedals. If you don't have rudder pedals, roll. So I have rudder pedals, I have it on yaw. You can change the nav system, so there's SIVA, which is what we're using now. You can put the default sort of explain FMC in there. Or you can put the LTN in there. Today we're using the SIVA, we'll come back to the LTN another day. Oh, the 742 PAX has autosave too, not new in the freighter. Thank you very much for letting me know. But yeah, it's a fantastic feature and it works really nicely as well. The units, you can change those. INS, so you can put real or fast. INS source, real or sim GPS. So if you put sim GPS, my understanding is that it doesn't drift. And if you have it on real, then you get drift. So I'll leave it on real for now. Sync the captain first officer gauges. So this is for your altimeter, really. It will sync your altimeter, so I like that on. Just makes things a bit easier. Auto throttle, sync throttle. I have that on. And the reason I have this on is because if I had it off with my Honeycomb Bravo, it has a bit of noise and it overrides the auto throttle, which means your auto throttle doesn't work effectively. So I'd like to leave this on, but it's up to you. Sounds, you can adjust your sounds there. Auto throttle blocks user throttle. So this basically means if you have it off, when you have auto throttle on, you can override it by moving your physical hardware throttle. Again, if your throttle has any kind of noise, it will constantly sort of override your auto throttle and it won't work. So I have it on so it has no interference at all. 2-axis throttle. So my throttle, I have a Honeycomb Bravo, but the sort of handles I have, I only have 2 for the airliner handles. So the way I've got it set up at the minute is I've got engine 1 handle, and when you set it to engine 1, Felis automatically binds it to 2 as well if you have it set that way. Of course, if you don't have it set that way, then it's only going to move those sort of individually, as you can see. So if you have 4 throttle axes, you can do that. If you only have 2, then you can turn this on and now you get individual control just like that, which is really nice. Kill objects, just kill some objects in the background when you're not looking at them. It can save a bit of FPS. So, of course, I have that on. Yoke manipulation, I'm not entirely sure what it is. I think it's for force feedback. Cabin lights, really more prominent in the freighter, in the passenger variant, sorry. So the cabin crew sort of automatically adjust the lights. Autosave period, self-explanatory. Save ACF state is I believe it's basically switch saving. So if I don't shut down properly, or I shut down and leave a particular switch in the wrong position, when I restart the aircraft, it will be in the same configuration, essentially. And that's on a per livery basis. So it's tied to each livery you have. Random fails is for, of course, random failures. Nikki, welcome. How's it going, my friend? Random failures is for random failures. Conditional failures is if you do something wrong, essentially, that would cause a failure. The failure will actually happen. So, you got to make sure you're doing stuff correctly here. So we leave that on. And then lower JIT, just, a performance thing, really doesn't really make a huge difference. I have it off. I didn't see any difference, really. But you can play around. Lock AVI tab on EFB in VR. That's for VR. The engine gauges, you can switch between the tape that we have now and the round. I much prefer round, but because they're new, I'll show off the tapes. Crew voices off and on. I love this feature. I have it on. The crew voices, so they call out, engine start, parking brake, 80 knots, V1, rotate, when you hit 10,000 feet, all of that good stuff. Again, really adds to the immersion. And crew accent, so you can set it to random by livery. So based on what livery you're flying, you'll set the accent, or manual, you can override it, and there's a few options. So if you click on it and then scroll, you can select UK, US, or the or Dutch, essentially. I'm going to go by livery, and that's going to be set to UK for today. FF equipment, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure what this is, but I'm sure it's in the manual. I've just forgot. So, shall we actually get the aircraft going then? So we have ground power. What I'm going to do is... Actually, do we have ground power? We do. Okay, so we'll head over to the engineer station. And first thing I'm going to do is, if I go here to BAT... sorry, if I go to normal and then battery on, I can check the BAT. So we've got DC volts and we've got slight discharge, as you would expect. Now we can close the bus tie. So now we're on external power on one side. Now for the freighter, at the minute, you want to leave this in the off position. So you don't want to connect external power to the main bus. Reason is, when it's not on the main bus, it's actually going to power our cargo door. So now we can see that we can open the cargo door. If I put that on the main bus, for example, now we're on using external power 1 and 2, you can see no main deck power, essentially. So Of course, I'm going to leave external power off for now. And we just have external power one on. There we are. And now we can open the door. So you can open the door from here, or you can open the door from below. So I'm going to open the bulk cargo door, which is going to open there at the back. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down into the cargo bay and open the door. So you can see what I mean by the click spot. Click open. There it is. Alrighty. And I will close this for now as well. Nice animations. Close the cockpit door. Get a little bit quieter in here. Okay, good. Get that FMC option ticked. German and same accent, very Hollywood. Yeah, I guess. So, moving on then. So we have external power connected to the aircraft. I'm going to do the APU test, so squib test, and then the fire test. So I'll do it individually, and then I can do it together. Alright, so we can put that to the on position. When these two lights extinguish, we can... cargo loading is not animated, but I believe it's a planned feature. But the cargo does populate in the cargo hold. So these two have now gone off. We can start the APU. You can see that's going. There goes the APU starting. All right, so let's get our payload then. So for the freighter, what I'm pretty much going to do is go 100% on the cargo. Because if you bring it light, and obviously it's a short flight today, I don't want a really light aircraft because it just makes the thing into a rocket ship and makes things a lot harder on departure. So heavy is actually better. We're going to go 100% here. And then for fuel, I'm not going to use a Simbri fuel. I am just going to use the aircraft calculator. My Simbri flight plan. AGR, welcome. Glad to have you here. Thank you very much for subscribing. So let's see, what's the mileage then? We'll pick the flight level later. I'm just going to leave that on 330 for now. It doesn't matter too much. But if we go to trip fuel, so we're looking about 435 nautical miles. So I'm going to put this on about 600. Sorry, that should be on 330. I'm going to put this on about 600 because I want some extra fuel. So we're going to get a total of 24.7 tons. That's perfectly fine for me. We're within limits. That's good. Oh, we're not Tomlinson. Welcome. How's it going, my friend? Glad to have you here. So now we can go show load sheet. And there it is. You can save it as a TXT if you wanted to. I'm going to return to main screen. And now what you can do is click refuel. So you can click use load sheet data. And we've actually got too much fuel on board at the minute, as you can see. So we need to actually drain some. So I'm going to call the tanker to drain. And it's going to drain. Lovely. Payload. Use load sheet data. We don't have any people to board, but we do have cargo to board. So I will click load. You can do it instantly as well. And now it's loading. Oh, the viz has significantly dropped off. And now it is loading. As you can see, as it gets full up, more and more sort of crates will spawn in there. So, we are good to go. So, we've got all of that going. Head to the overhead panel here. Or actually head over here. The APU is on. So, what I'm going to do is close the fields here. And then check the frequency and the AC volts, okay? So APU Gen 1, that's good on both sides, and APU Gen 2 is good. We want to check those before we put them onto the main bus. And now they go onto the main bus. There we are. Lovely stuff. And I'm going to start a flow. So, now maybe it's not what's, recommended, but this works for me. This is all engine stuff. We don't need to worry about that too much for now. Galley power can go on. We want some hot coffee. So that can go on. Battery, standby power is in normal. ESS AC bus is in normal. Fuel panel, we can leave this for now. And pressurization, okay. Actually, I'm going to set that once we know our cruise altitude, which we will figure out in a second. Then we can get the, that is not that, we can get the trim air on. We can get the bleed air on. You want to wait a minute or two for that. So bleed air can come on, and we can open the packs now, and trim air. Lovely. And what we'll do is we'll get reset fan 1 on, because that's for us here in the cockpit. All the best flying the classic Queen. Yes, absolutely. Welcome to the stream. Can't you add simple ground service to SGS plugin 274-F to low cargo? Yes, I believe you can. I think the simple ground service, it still thinks it's a passenger variant, so I think this, I'm sure he will do it. XP Javelin will update this for compatibility with the aircraft, because the ACF name is different, I think. But yeah, I'm sure that'll be an option as well. Do you know if there's any other improvements other than the model versus the passenger one? Debating which one to grab. So there's a couple of extra features like the engine tapes and stuff like that. In terms of improvements, I'm not 100% sure. I think the textures, models, etc. are pretty much the same quality. They might be a bit better. But really it's just a different variant as far as I know. So it kind of depends which variant you would rather fly. But remember, if you own one, you do get a huge discount, and the other one will only be $30 for you, which is a really nice discount. So that's very good. So continuing on with the flow here, then we have air power. Sorry, we have power, we have air. We're looking good here. What we can do is we can get a hydraulic pump on for now. This is a bit of a bug. I'm sure it'll be fixed later down the line. You need to go to the routing section in here. Is that what you're saying? Anyway. So few tests then we can do here. So we can switch these all to A and do the A fly test and fault test. We can switch them to B. A lot of tests to be done. Do the tests. All looking good. Back to both. And we can do both at the same time. That's all working fine. Squibs, left and right bottle looking good. Come over here, test the smoke detector. And we can test the blower. Okay, we can test after cargo heat. Is working fine, as you can see. Now we can go A on here and test A. There we are, for the lower cargo fire protection. And B, and back to both. We can test the squibs. Bottle 1, bottle 2, looking good. Oh, you're answering Caleb, I see, okay, fair enough. Test 1, test 2 for the wing leading edge overheat. Test for the main deck smoke detector. Now we can test the brake temp monitor. So you can see they all go up. Right hand side. Right hand side again. Left hand side looking good. Alright, this is normal to be expected. Looking good. We want to check the fuel jettison panel, make sure everything here, basically all the switches are down and we've got no lights, so that's fine. And we'll put that back. Moving on to the overhead, I'm going to go in a sort of from down, left, up, and across again. So all of this is fine for now. Anti-skid will turn on later. I'm going to get some lighting in here. So the lighting is really nice. I very much like it. This thing is beautiful to fly at night. I did a night flight in it the other day. In fact, this flight I did when I did my test sector was a night flight, and then it was like early morning. It was beautiful. We can get all the I and S's to standby. Engine ignitions are fine as they are. All of these should be covered, which they are. Looking good. No smoking, passenger seatbelt signs can go on. Again, everything here looking good to me. We'll get the nav light on and the logo light on. Can test all the lights here, as you can see, and everything comes on nicely. What we can do now is set the test the power lights, and we'll put the power lights on, and get the radio masters on. We'll do some stall warning tests, and there we are. There's our little flow there. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to put our position into the INS system. So to do this, we need to get the our parking coordinates. Now you can normally find this on Navigraph. So if I just bring up Navigraph here, and for our flight, there's always a chart for it. So if we go here to the charts for Taipei, I hope I'm saying it correctly. Go to taxi charts over here, and then you can see parking bays and cords. Should be cargo apron here. Yes, it is. And we are on stand 513. So we can go here. See 513 here. And 513 is included in this one. 511 through 513. So this one here. What I'm going to do, just because I like to do it, is I will just underline it. So this one here. This one there. Otherwise, I'm going to end up looking at the wrong one at some point and screwing it up. So just to make sure, I like to underline it there. So I will put this on the second monitor and get this in. So to do this, what you want to do is go to position. So flick all of these over to position. Now you can't do this at the same time for all of them. You need to do it individually at the minute. The remote function doesn't work for this part. And we need to tell it where we are, essentially. So to do this, we're in position waypoint 0. That's what we want to do. We can hit N, so north, because it's north 25053. Insert, and then it's going to be east 121145, and insert. That's our position done. We need to do that for the other two as well. So waypoint 0 in position north 25053. Insert east 121145. Insert. And finally, position waypoint 0 north 25053. Insert east 121145. Insert. There we are. So now the aircraft knows where we are. What we can do now is put it in status effectively on all of them, and you can see we have an 8.5 here. So what this is 8 is essentially kind of our accuracy in a very, standard way, and this will tick down as it aligns. 5 is a threshold. So essentially what we're looking for here is when 8 is less than 5, we're in a good place. So we can now flick the INSs over to the align position, and you can see now these will go all the way down. As you can see there, they're going to tick down, and as they align, they get more and more accurate, and they tend to 0. Okay? I usually use captain side INS as main, then put the other two INS as remote. Yes, that's what I normally do, but you can't remote when you put the initial position in, is what the SIVA tutorial said, at least. And then what I do after that is I do remote the rest for the other waypoints. We're going to let this align for now then. Look at it. Rainy, horrible day out here. Alrighty, so let's check on our fuel. We are now fueled, and payload is still, they're just finishing up down there. As you can see, the aircraft is a lot more full now. Look at that. So it just sort of fill up dynamically. Lovely stuff. Hope you guys are enjoying it so far. And we will be ready to go relatively soon. We can probably now get our clearance probably a decent time to do that. So I'm gonna get the ATIS from SimBrief here, not SimBrief, sorry, from St. Tensions. There's a handy new airport lookup function. So I've put the airport in here and it gives me the ATIS, so I don't need to sit there and listen to it. I can just read it, which is really nice. What's the maximum cargo it can carry? I'll tell you just after I read the ATIS. So, Taiwan Information Juliet, 1930 Zulu, so that was about an hour and 20 minutes ago. Arriving departing runways 5 left, 5 right, wind 04018, gusting 29, always windy. Visibility 1, sky conditions scattered 500, broken 800, broken 1800. Temperature 19, dew point 18, QNH 1023, transition level 120, advise. Alright, so I'm going to set QNH 1023, information Juliet, I'll remember that. Alright, so let's just set the QNH 1023. and 1023. Now when loading is finished, it will actually close the side, the doors automatically as well, which is really nice. But we can probably just do it manually as well. So we have everything on board, so I'm now going to go to ground and I'm going to close both the doors. And that's now going to slowly close for us. Lovely. So QNH is set. Our clearance is 1217. Oh, that's handy. Look at that. Let's get our clearance then. So, what stand were we? 513, weren't we? Indeed, 513. All right. Type E clearance, Air Hong Kong 818, stand 513, information Juliet on board, aircraft type Boeing 747-200. Request IFR clearance to Hong Kong, please.
Stand by, you're number 1.
Alright, so looks like we've got to wait a little bit for the clearance. There we are, doors are closed. Good stuff.
Air Hong Kong 818, cleared to Hong Kong via the Chow 1 Alpha departure. Radar vectors Novus, then as filed. Departure runway 5 right, initial climb to 4000. Departure on 119.5, squawk 4421.
Clear to Hong Kong via the Chow 1 Alpha departure. Radar vectors Novus, then as filed. Departure runway 5 right, initial climb to 4000. Departure on 119.5, squawk 4421. Air Hong Kong 818. So, see how, do you remember how that initial waypoint I didn't add? Because we're going to get radar vectors from Novas, and Novas is our first waypoint in our...
Air Hong Kong 818, read back correct. Contact ground on 121.6 when ready.
It will be when I add it. Contact ground 121.6 when ready. Thank you very much, Air Hong Kong 818. Okay, so initial climb clearance is to 4000. So 4005 right, which is what we planned. That's good. Departure is 119.5, which I have here set, ready to go. Squawk is 4421. So 4421. 4421. Weather radar in standby.
Contact tower on 118.7 safe flight.
Alright, and now we are good to input stuff into our INS. So I'm gonna go, what I'm gonna do is put all of these on waypoint and hit the remote function, and now they are all linked. So as I add these waypoints, they're all gonna be linked. Let me grab my PDF up. Alrighty, so this is where now my PDF is really going to help. So I can say, look, okay, waypoint 1, here's my coordinates. Waypoint 2, here's my coordinates. Really easy. So I'm going to go ahead and do this now. So flick this over to waypoint 1. We always want to be in waypoint 1. Waypoint 0 would be our current position. We don't want to change that. So waypoint 1, and we can put in our first waypoint. Maximum cargo.
Walker 1418, we have information, Juliet.
I'm just going to switch off clearance for now. I don't want to keep hearing them. So max weight, if I go to load calculator, our maximum zero fuel weight is, it should be on here somewhere. So max zero fuel weight is 267,619. We're actually not too far off that. So it can carry quite a lot of payload. Our payload is we have 110 tons of payload currently, and we are full on payload. So it's, yeah, you can carry a lot, a huge amount of payload. Right, back to our INS. So number 1, waypoint 1 is going to be north 25175, insert, east 121,077, insert. So that's our first waypoint, and you can see it transferred over there straight away as soon as I hit insert, right? Now we wanted to go ahead and do waypoint number 2. Now you don't need to switch these over to waypoint 2. You can do it if you want to confirm that it's moving across. I'm just going to leave it for now. So waypoint 2 is north 25123, and then east 121,011, insert. Waypoint 3 is north 2508, so 25080, insert. Then east 120,565, insert. And we keep doing this. So waypoint 4, north 24438, insert. And then it's going to be east 120,305, insert. Waypoint 5 is going to be north 23357, insert, east 119382, insert. Waypoint 6 is going to be north 22200, insert, east 117300, insert. Waypoint 7, north 22162, insert, east 114554, insert. Right, last two. We have north 22159, insert, east 11469, insert. And the final one is north 22014, insert, east 11439, insert. Now we have all of our waypoints, and as you can see, it has transferred them all across. So now we've got all our waypoints in. I'm going to turn off the remote function, and I will just set this back to 1. There it is. As you can see, the from to is 0, 1. So 0 is our present position, 1 is our first waypoint. So that is done. Share some screenshots of the Felis 742 cargo mod with front loader on your Discord under Excellent Screenshots app. Take a look. Yes, I will, absolutely. Once I get in the air, I'll take a look. Absolutely. Alright, let's remember what we're gonna do. We're gonna put our gross weight in. So if we go over here, load sheet, our total weight is gonna be block weight is 2919. So if I go over here, we can see 2919 is what we want. I'm just going to double check that. Block weight 2919. Yeah, so the aircraft now knows essentially what weight we are. Now, what we can do to find our cruise altitude, because I'm not going to go off sim brief, is go here. So 2919. Okay, if we look at this chart here now, we can see we can figure out our cruise altitude. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go for optimum, and I'm looking at 0.86 Mach cruise. So 2919. So I'm going to go down here until I see something about 2919. So I'm looking probably around here. So Mach 0.86, 293, 291. Yep, that's not too far off. So I'm going to be looking at around flight level 340 is going to do me today. I think that'll work. So I'm going to put my cabin altitude to 1,000 above that. So 35,000 feet. There it is. Test the rate limit outflow valves. There we are. They're working just fine. You see it went down. Vertical speed went up. Cabin altitude's changing as you would expect. Lovely. And that's in auto. So that's exactly what we want. Check all of these. They're all fine. Leave it in engine 1. This is just to check the fuel temp. Pressurization is set, so we're doing 340. Lovely. Alright, not long to go now, and we'll be up in the air fairly soon. On the APU bleed. Alright, we've got the SEVA sorted. I'm going to put the runway heading in our for our autopilot. Runway heading, we're doing runway 05 right, so it's going to be 054. We always take off in heading mode in this aircraft, so put 054, and we got heading mode selected. That's good. We don't need to worry about VORs for now. We're not using them. Initial altitude is set, and that's off. Good. All right, we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. We can have a look here. You can see our engine oil pressure. That's fine. There's a couple more tests we can do. So max indicator reset, we can reset that. Instrument warning test, that all comes up here as you can see. We can push to cancel. We can do an altitude alert test. So what I'll actually do is our current altitude, we're at about 150 foot. So if I do that plus 700, you're looking at about 800, right? Roughly. What we can do is hold the altitude alert test, click this one, and you can see the test has performed and that's passed. Alright, head back to 4,000. Ground proximity test.
Pull up, glide slope, glide slope.
Alright, so that all works. Rudder ratio is, if you hold it, you'll see the light come on. That's all you're looking for. Perfect. TCAS test is here. And as you can see, that runs over here for our TCAS on our vertical speed indicator.
TCAS system test OK.
And it's passed. Lovely. Good. We are looking good to go here. Ground was 1216. So let's tune them. Tower is 1187. So let's get ready and put that on 1187. All right. We got 1215, so we got guard on the second comm, which is what we want. That's good. Final flows here. Right, so these are now ready. As you can see, if I go to distance track, you can see that we say 05 now, so that means it's really accurate with the 0. So we can put these in nav. As you can see, they are ready, and you want to do this before you move anywhere. So they are now in nav. Probe heats, you can do the TAT test and put those in on, and the window heats can go on as well. And oh, we forgot the emergency exit lights, those can go on. Let's run the before start checklist then. And let's see if we got everything.
Before start checklist.
Oh, you know what? I just already, straight away I saw something we didn't do. We didn't do our performance. So, load from the load sheet, or you can load from sim. So, obviously load sheet will load from your load sheet. Sim will load with your current sort of values. I'm just going to go load sheet. And we are at Romeo, Charlie, Tango, Papa. Enter that, and you can select your runway. So, the runway we are on is 05 right, or is the one we're going to be using. Read the sim weather. And you can see here we got runway 3,356 meters, required 2,000. So, absolutely plenty. We can set those speed bugs, and those are now going to have set on our... They're set there on our airspeed indicator, and this will have set V2 of 159 on my speed. I'm going to set V2 plus 10, so 169. There we are. And now I think we should be good to run the checklist.
Before start checklist.
EVA 3223, contact tower on 118.7 safe flight.
Complete. Complete.
Complete. Oxygen mask and quantity.
Checked. Checked.
American Checked.
461, push and start approved.
Flight
Face southwest.
control power switches.
On the body gear steering as well.
Body gear steering.
And we'll turn on the anti-skid.
INS mode.
Nav.
Emergency lights.
Armed.
Cabin signs.
On.
Stall warning.
I see you're
Checked.
using the
Normal.
early version. There was some bugs
Probe
which
heat.
I
On.
fixed. Ah, Roger. So we'll get that updated
Window
then for
heat.
tomorrow's stream.
On.
Felis, thank you very much, and
Radios
glad to
and
have you here, my friend.
altimeters.
Again,
Set. Set.
big thank you
Set.
for providing the
Airspeed.
aircraft for
Bug
us
set. Bug set.
to stream
set.
early. Really, really appreciate it.
Engine limits.
Hold on.
So engine limits. Yeah, I forgot that, didn't I? So we're in takeoff. We can set the AT to N1 mode here. We're not derating today.
QNH 1010.
On and checked.
Number 1 air pump.
Tomorrow morning I'll upload the final product, which will be the release version. Thank you very much. I will.
Start levers.
I'll update tomorrow morning. Thank you. Really
Gear
appreciate it.
pins.
Country 351, pushback approved. Face
Galley
northeast.
power.
Let's see.
Yep. Yes, we didn't turn that off, did we?
Fuel.
Oh, this.
Fuel. Right, we have fuel. We can go all the boost pumps on. We don't have anything in the center, so we'll leave those off for now.
2, 4,
There we
5,
are.
8, 3 kilograms. Set for start.
Look, I really enjoy these checklists. They're fantastic.
Pressurization.
Auto.
Packs, I forgot that as
Pack
well.
valves.
Let's see. One open.
There we are.
Air pumps.
Off.
Start pressure.
40 psi.
Cargo doors.
Taiwan ground,
All
Japan airline.
closed.
Before start
1
checklist.
second while I grab
Complete.
the paperwork.
So what I did there, because I forgot, is turn the packs off. So we got number 2 pack on. And we got the, you can see the
All
pressure
aircraft
here. I believe
information
if I,
Lima is now
the
current. QNH
manual
1012.
said you need between 38 and 42 psi. We're smack bang in the middle, 40 psi. Lovely stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and connect better pushback. We'll get those guys
Ground
going.
cockpit, tow is driving up.
By the way, we have some lovely views set up on the wings. Look at this, lovely stuff. Yeah, really, really nice from Felis. Just fantastic. So better pushbacks coming. Once they get connected, I'll request push, and then we'll get going and we'll start the engines. One final check. Everything here is looking good to me. All right. Yeah, so there's no specific date, but it looks like what Felis is saying. Said this
Okay,
week
all
I'm
doors
ready
and
for it,
hatches
so
are
I'm gonna
closed,
pack
ready
it
to
for the
connect.
stores tomorrow. Lovely. So hopefully we can expect it within a few days for you guys. And remember, there's a big discount if you already own the passenger version, $30 for the freighter. Again, that price is fantastic. This is, you know, one of, if not the best passenger airliners and cargo, airliner in the sim. In my opinion, I thoroughly enjoy it. The sounds are great, the visuals are great, the system depth is great, and I think it's just more immersive than almost any other aircraft I've flown, because you got the voice checklist when you release the parking brake, or when you are on takeoff, or when you go through 10,000 foot, you get a voice call out, so you feel like you're working in a crew, right? You feel like there's other people sat here in the cockpit with you. When you remove chocks, you get a voice line. When you remove GPU, you get a voice line. So it really is one of the most immersive aircraft for me. And so I think that that price of $30 is incredibly good. It could have been a lot more. Really good. Alright, so they are set. We're talking to ground. Let's get our clearance to push then. So Taipei ground, Air Hong Kong 818, stand 513, request push and stop.
Air Hong Kong 818, pushback approved, face southwest.
Pushback approved, face southwest, Air Hong Kong 818. Alright, so let's see. Better push back.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
Because I used to stand earlier. In fact, I'm going to delete because I'm going to show you what to do here. What I'm going to do, of course, I'm going to push. We need to push nose right. But then what I'm going to do for the body gear steering, so it sort of straightens itself up, I will ask them to pull the aircraft forward slightly after, so the body gear steering sort of straightens up.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Okay, so parking brake. So we'll get the beacon on. Body gear steering is armed. We can release. Is anything behind us? No, we're good. So release the parking brake.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
And we're clear to start the engines. So start the engines then. We'll open the bleed valves.
Good evening, Philippine 784, signing off. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, good point there. The discounts will only work on the same store that you bought the original. Yes, exactly. Alright, did we set the barrel set here? I don't think we did. The barrel is QNH1024. So actually, let me set that quickly. There it is. Alright. Bleed valves open. We should be good for the engine start. I believe I've remembered everything. Now we're just going to hit this. Put this onto ground start, we're going to hold it, and you're going to hear the starter valve open.
Starting engine 4. Starter valve open.
There it is. I love the voice lines. Like I said, really immersive. And now we can look for our N2 here. We can look for 20% N2. Now, these tapes, obviously, they've been implemented really nicely. But I do prefer the original gauges. Because it's just a little bit easier to see what's happening with the N2. It's a bit difficult to see 20% here. But 20% is this line here, I believe. So as soon as we get to 20%, we can introduce the fuel. And we'll get the EGT. Of course, we can check our oil as well. And I just realized we're not moving because my chocks are on. Which I totally forgot. So, we should probably disconnect those, shouldn't we?
Disconnect ground power. Starter off.
Oh, for CF6, it's 10%. You can also change it. Yes. Right, it's 10%. I remember that. I think I was going off a manual where it said 20 for the PWs. See those voice lines? So immersive.
To ground. Remove the chocks.
Yeah, so the only reason I'm using the tapes just because they're new. People wanted to see them, so. But tomorrow's stream, I'm going to stream again. I'm going to use the older gauges. There we are. All right.
Chocks removed.
Now we're going. All right, let's start the next engine then. Start engine number 3.
Starting engine 3. Starter valve open.
Maybe later I'll add an option to prioritize the EFB options or the delivery settings. That'd be quite nice.
10%.
There we are, 10%.
Fuel on.
Fuel on. Yeah, like I said, the
Light up.
manuals, really, really nice. You learn a lot. So definitely, before you fly it, read the manual. That's what I did, and, you know, taught me everything I needed to know, really.
Cathay 351, contact tower on 118.7. Have a good afternoon.
Now, the next engine start I'll do from the wing view on the left, so you can hear the sounds, but they are very, very nice indeed. Let it stabilize here. Starter is off. Hey, Harris, Calvin got XP12 for 747 a few weeks ago. No regrets. Yes, it's fantastic. Like I said, one of the best. It really is. Darren, yeah, sounds really nice. The sounds are fantastic. Really good. Jesse, welcome. How's it going, my friend? Glad to have you here. I'm addicted to this aircraft. I've been flying it so much. Honestly, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I really love it. Alright, let's start engine number 3.
Starting engine 2. Starter valve
Sorry,
open.
number 2. We hear the sounds here. Though we need to get the fuel in. Get the fuel in here shortly.
The tug is already disconnected.
And to 10%.
There's the N2, 10%.
Fuel on.
EVA 801, we're ready for taxi to the active.
Fantastic sounds, really nice. And the modelling, just look at the modelling, the texture work there. Aircraft looks absolutely amazing. And let's start the final engine. In fact, let's engine 2 stable. It is indeed. Start engine number 1.
Starting engine 1. Starter valve open.
See, the tug is now pulling us forward to straighten up the body gear.
And to 10%.
Alright, into 10%.
Fuel on.
Fuel in.
Light up.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Yeah, I really enjoy all the voice lines. Even just the voice line for 10,000 feet. Really useful, because the amount of times
Starter
I've
off.
blown through 10,000 foot and not even realised. Really useful. Jesse, honestly, I would say go for it. I was for a while as well. But you know what? Go through the manuals, look at the reflecting reality tutorials. And yeah, you'll be more than confident to fly this thing. Once you do it once, follow the normal procedures PDF that comes with the aircraft. Yeah, then you get your own flows, you know, you run the checklist, it checks things for you. It's just brilliant. Darren, just sub. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, my friend.
Disconnected and has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Alright, so good start on the engines then. Let's do this. Let's close the... oh, no, sorry, never mind. What we need to do is we need to check the gens. So we check the frequency, the volts on all of them. They're all looking good. We'll close the bus tie. So we're now powered by the engines. Good stuff. Panics can come back on for now. APU bleed can go off. I'll leave it off, and as we get moving, I'll turn the APU off. The air pumps to auto. That's switch yourself off. That's good. We'll cover that. And I think we are good to go. V-Sky Check, welcome. Glad to have you here. Alright. Lights will get on later. Everything is looking good. We'll go TA on here. Standby weather radar. Galley power, yes. Thank you very much. And galley power, there it is. Let's run the after start checklist. I think... Oh, I did forget one thing. There we are, we'll close that.
After start checklist.
Aileron and rudder trim. 0. Electrical.
No lights. Essential normal.
Hydraulics.
Auto and normal.
Doors.
Closed.
Ground equipment.
Cleared.
340, ready for pushback
After
and
start
engine start.
checklist. Complete.
Sierra
Alright.
Pacific 965 Heavy Taipei ground pushback and engine start approved. Base northeast.
Beautiful. Let's get our taxi clearance then. And oh no, actually a few more things. Flaps. So flaps 10 for takeoff.
Flaps
There it
10.
is. Trim. And our flight directors. So performance calculation then. So trim 4.4 units. So we'll set up 4.4 just about in the green band, so that's fine. Flight director initial pitch 16 degrees. So we can get the flight directors on. And I can adjust the pitch here to 16 degrees. So we'll go up as high as we can. A bit further. I think it caps out at 15, doesn't it? So we'll leave it there. That's fine for now. Yes, Polar Pilot is so satisfying getting this in. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Right, I don't want to listen to that. Can't get around, need to wait for a sale. Yeah, I think, well, to be fair, the Black Friday sale is soon, I think, right? So maybe it's on sale. Heavy aircraft are fun. Oh yeah, and when you get it in the air, it flies heavy. The flight model is fantastic. So fun to fly. Let's get our taxi clearance then. Darren, thank you for subscribing. Taipei ground, Air Hong Kong 818, ready to taxi.
Air Hong Kong 818, runway 5 right taxi via November, Papa 10, Echo, Quebec 7, Sierra, Sierra 1.
Runway 5 right, taxi via November, Papa 10, Echo, Quebec 7, Sierra, Sierra 1. Air Hong Kong 818. Alright, so that is that. Okay, so taxi lights can come on, which is really just runway turn off lights. Disengage the parking brake, give it some power here. Need a fair bit to get moving. And as we roll off the stand, I will turn the APU off. Oh, off. There we are. Alrighty. While we get moving. I should show you the flap sounds as well, shouldn't I? Let's. I'm just going to set my flaps to 5 and then back to 10 so you can hear the flap sounds real quick. Actually, we'll go to the other view. There we are. We'll go to 5 and then back to flaps 10. Beautiful flap sounds. Now my textures are compressing here a bit. The textures on the aircraft are far better than this. But I lack VRAM on my PC, so the textures are compressing a little bit. But that is purely an issue with my my PC and my graphics card, really. Right now I'm trying to master MD-11, flown it 10 times now, 8 times I left a crater on the runway. Well, we've all done it with the MD-11. We've all done it. Alrighty. Hey, curious what ATC says. This is Sane Tensions AI for the ATC today. Yes, definitely sounds like an AI voice. It's not bad though for AI. It does make mistakes a fair amount, in all honesty, so it's not perfect by any means. It's just nice having ATC at pretty much any airport I go to, you know, rather than relying on VATSIM or something. It is wet, so we've got to be careful here. Now, these guys aren't going to stop for us as an X-plane thing, so... well, maybe they will stop for us. You see a big 747 lumbering towards you. You're going to stop. Have you thought about upgrading your PC? I really want to. I do. I'm looking out for some good deals on some graphics cards. So really, when I get the opportunity to, I will be. Yeah. But you know, the prices are so high at the minute for graphics cards. Have a good takeoff. Thank you very much. Oh yes.
Taiwan ground, Cathay 015,
That's very true, Sim Dry Fly. Very true. So intentions is not too cheap, to say the least. I hope it's better than default. Yeah, default's really not good. Yeah, default's not good at all. But saying intention, it's good. It's not bad. Out of maybe 10 flights, it makes a mistake on 1. So you know, not perfect. Could be better. Otherwise, it's not too bad. We'll see today how it is. Explain usually stops. SF. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Plan. For now, I'll maintain this one, add some more features, then we'll see maybe time to dig into AM225. Oh, that sounds exciting.
Bypass pin inserted. Just let me know when you're ready to start the pushback.
That's from the radio, by the way. Someone's transmitting to their ground crew on say intentions for some reason. Right, we've got a low vis departure in front of us here. It'll be fun. AN225. That'd be really interesting. We had one come in to my local once at East Midlands. Just an amazing machine. Oh, I see the AJ. You're talking about the ground service. Yeah. You got Starlux in front of us there. Bit of rain, so we'll get the wipers on. There we are. Look at this, working wipers.
Delta 5128, push and start approved, base southwest.
Living UA will be an honor for me. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be really cool to see from you, because this, you know, level of detail would be just incredible. It really would. Alright, so we are taxiing to the end here pretty much, so let's speed it up a little bit, but it is wet, so we've got to be careful. Now what we can do is we can get the weather radar normal, tilt there, just like that. We can see there a little bit of returns that we're getting. That might be just ground clutter though. Now, worth noting, optimal climb 324, so we'll use that when we actually depart.
Qantas 21, request push and type A ground, Qantas 21, request push and start.
Qantas 21, push and start approved, base south.
And again, this aircraft, it handles so well in the air, but it handles really nicely on the ground, you know, really nicely on the ground as well. So, let's do a bit of a briefing then for the takeoff. We'll slow down, we're getting a bit close to this 321 in front of us. So, departure. We're departing in heading mode. Once we get to 1,000 foot, what I'm going to do is put Command A on. We'll be in vertical speed. I will switch this over to climb mode, okay? And essentially what we're going to do is I'm going to put vertical speed 500 feet, so we'll basically accelerate, so lower the nose, accelerate through our flap speeds here. So initially I'm going to maintain roughly V2 plus 10, but anywhere around 180 knots really. Speed up all the way to 250, and then what I'm going to do after that 250 is I can stick this on IAS mode, is what we'll do. And I'll set the speed to 250, because then if we level off at 4,000, the auto throttles can can sort that out. So that's the plan. There's a bit to do on the takeoff, so I may be a little bit quiet, but we'll get up there. Oh, and also we'll make the left turn, and what I will need to do is go direct to Novas. Now Novas, just gonna wait here for the 321. Novas is our first waypoint, so essentially what I'm gonna do is go waypoint change 01 insert, which is essentially a direct to our first waypoint. Flight for Fun, welcome. How's it going, my friend? Glad to have you here. Alright, we should be clear now. Let's go. That is due to my Honeycomb Bravo not sitting in the detent properly. Again, not an aircraft issue, just more to do with my hardware. Let's go. Hour and a half setup. I'm streaming for an hour and a half, guys. Although, to be fair, I was showing the aircraft off and stuff at the start, was nice, so there you go. Dumb light, I don't think we really had it on, but we can make sure we turn that off. Alright. Yes, Felis is indeed the developer of this absolutely amazing aircraft. Alright. Lovely wing views. Lighting and X-plane looking really nice.
3223, request push and start.
Alright.
Push and start, face southwest.
So we had our briefing, so we should be ready for the departure.
Contact tower on 118.7, so long.
Tower 1187, I'm going to have that in standby, so we're ready to go there. Don't exceed 30 knots. We'll just expedite a little bit. Alright, let's arm the auto brake for takeoff, which is here. I think everything else we are good for. We'll start the checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Auto brake takeoff. Arm.
Mason Joel, fly the NG 737-300 and 400 for an airline in Canada. I can say for certain you've done an excellent job with this. There are some notable things between the 742. And I'm going to guess that's going to say the 73 Classics.
Air Hong Kong 818, contact tower on 118.7, take care.
Contact tower 118.7, Air Hong Kong 818. Right, so let's stop here. I'm going to stop at the Cat 3. Right, there's a cafe there waiting for takeoff. We'll just stop over here. Alright, where did our checklist get to? Flight control. So my yoke is a bit broken at the minute. So if I go to full elevator up, full elevator up, yeah, sorry, then my yoke bugs a little bit, so I'll just skip that.
4.4 units. Switch set. No lights.
Galley power on. APU was required.
It's always nice to have real-world pilots
Set for takeoff.
here in the chat. Welcome.
Air conditioning and pressurization. Set and auto. Annunciator lights. Checked.
Yeah, everything down here. What's this? Anti-skid, that's because we got the parking brake on. Alright. Let's get our takeoff clearance then. We need to go to tower, don't we? So I'm going to switch to tower. I'm going to put my departure frequency in ready. So 119.5. Alright. Taipei Tower, Air Hong Kong 818, holding short to runway 05 right.
Air Hong Kong 818, heavy Taipei Tower, runway 05 right, wind 040 at 18, gusting 29er, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 05 right, Hong Kong 818. Alright, gusting 29er, alright.
Parking brake released.
So 040, so it's going to be coming from the left, alright. We'll keep that in mind on takeoff. We've got a crosswind from the left, gusting up to 49. So, lights on. Strobe on. TCAS, TARA. Ignition.
TAI.
Nice click spot to do all of them at the same time.
Landing lights and strobes on. Body gear steering. 1 moment.
Alright, so that we can disarm that once we are on the runway.
Ava 3223, contact departure.
Okay, so on the takeoff as well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to advance the throttle slowly until I hear stable, and then essentially I've got the auto throttle set here. I'll turn the auto throttle on here and let the auto throttle advance the throttles to take off power. So we'll line up here. And yeah, I'm going to be a little bit silent on the takeoff, guys, because you hear these engines. They are incredibly good. Incredibly good. Alright, lined up. I'm going to pull forward a little bit to straighten up the gear steering. That should do it. And we'll just stop there for a second. Right, so we'll disarm the gear steering.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Alright. We ready to go, guys? So, I'm going to get my wipers on fast.
Contact departure.
On high even. Alright, let's go. Slowly advance the throttles.
Eva 801, contact departure on 119.5.
119.5, Qantas 255.
Stabilized.
Stable. And so go. Oh, yes.
Thrust set.
80 knots. V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
Welcome to Taipei. Contact ground
Time,
121.6.
Bye bye. Oh yes. Alright. So you can see around 180 knots.
Gear is up.
Okay.
Air Hong Kong
Looking for
818,
1,000.
contact departure on 119.5.
There we are. Command A, heading mode. And go vertical speed. Remember, aviate, navigate, communicate. So let's go, actually 1,000 feet per minute will do. And as we speed up, flaps 5.
Flaps 5.
Contact departure 119.5. Hong Kong 818. So keep watching the speed here. Flaps 1.
Flaps 1. Flaps up.
And I'm going to go IAS mode. Now it's going to pitch for 250. There it goes. Climb. 119.5.
1,000 to level off.
Taipei departure, Hong Kong 818. Alright, 250 now.
Air Hong Kong 818, heavy Taipei departure, radar contact. Turn left heading 305, vectors to Novus, Venice filed.
Left heading 305, back to Novus, Hong Kong 818. Alright, 1,000 to go. Once this flicks back to the off position from IAS, which it will do. Oh, I didn't. There we are. I forgot to select that. There we are. Now we're gonna level off and we'll go speed mode.
Air Hong
here.
Kong 818, climb flight level 220.
Climb flight level 220 at Hong Kong 818. Okay. Now we can go all the way up to 220. And we can go IAS, EPR, sorry, M1, and I toggled autothrottle off there, that was my fault. Now it's going to go EPR, climb thrust, IAS mode, and we're climbing. Alright, we did blow past 250 a little bit.
Air Hong Kong 818, heavy speed below 250 knots.
Roger, speed below 250 knots, Hong Kong 818. Alright, yeah, that's my fault. It'll bleed down though.
Air Hong Kong 818, heavy roger, speed 250 knots acknowledged.
I'm gonna go vertical
Delta
speed.
5128, contact Taipei Center on 130.6.
All the way up. Let us bleed off the speed.
0.6, Delta 5.
Landing gear off. Alright, I'm seeing a lot of stuff in chat, I'll get to it in a second. And we are heading to Novas, so what I'm going to do is remote. We're on waypoint, I'm going to go waypoint change 01 insert. Okay, now I can switch this to INS. I can see here what the INS wants to do. So we'll hit INS now. And now we are using the INS. So now we're going direct to Novas. Alright. Good. Okay. Now I'm still in vertical speed because I want to bleed some of the speed up, but we're going to get to 10,000 before anyway. So then what I'm probably going to do is, what's our climb speed? And we'll do it have to take off checklist in a minute. As you can see, there's a lot to do. 324. So, put 324 here.
Climb flight level 220.
324 vertical speed, bring this down to 500 feet per minute. And
Air Hong Kong 818, climb flight level 280.
Climb flight level 280 through the Air Hong Kong 818. 280. We're in M1 mode, good. Okay, right. Now we can run the checklist. And then as we get up to 324, I'll switch over to IAS mode.
Cabin signs.
Descending from level 128 to level 120.
Flaps.
Even 3223, Taipei approach identified. Good afternoon.
We're getting up there.
Runway 5 left approach into
Now we got
Taipei.
IAS mode.
Close. APU. Shutdown. Isolation valves. Both open. After takeoff checklist complete.
Alright. There we are. Look at that. Lovely. Okay. We're intercepting the INS as well. Alright, now we're going all the way up to 280.
Airline 107,
Good
climb
stuff. Let
flight
me
level
work
280.
that in chat. Alright.
Flight level 280, KLM 1.
Yeah, the flyby sound is fantastic. It really is. Why could you hear them go back and forth? Exactly. Very, very good. It's such an immersive aircraft. Hi to Depth. Hey, welcome. Oh, bit of weather. Aviate, navigate, communicate. Exactly. Exactly. The B742 functions similar to the plane I fly in real life. Which would welcome Discovery trying to fly this on. That's I'm glad. What aircraft do you fly in real life, if you don't mind me asking? Rain on the Wilmsford. Yeah, I'm using Gustavo Rodriguez rain edits. The Rain Lewis scripts. Pre-release indeed, yes, still pre-release. Release as far as juggling between vertical speed and speed. Yes, yeah, absolutely. Don't want to give too much away with the detail longer than A319. Fair enough. It's nothing very effective. Well, yeah.
Air Hong Kong 818, climb flight level 330.
Climb flight level 330, Hong Kong 818. Alright, now we've got a little bit of time to breathe because it's a very busy departure. Now remember we're going up to 330.
Air Hong Kong 818, maintain level 330.
Maintain 330, Hong Kong 818. Okay, let's see where we're at. We're climbing IAS mode at 324 knots, looking good. see we're going from waypoint 3 to 4 here. And everything is just as it should be. Good stuff. Alright, flight engineer
Hong Kong
panel.
818, contact Taipei Center on 122.65.
Looking good here. Taipei Center 122.9, correction 122.65, Hong Kong 818. Alright, 122.65 then. One two two six five. Taipei Center, Air Hong Kong 818. Join Discord, fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Are you in? I am, yes, fine now.
Stand by.
Oh yes. Simply lovely. Beautiful sound. Alright, we are well on our way to Hong Kong. How's the performance feel with the new engines compared to the PWs? In all honesty, I haven't flown the passenger version enough to be able to compare. I really used the freighter version to learn how to fly the aircraft, but I'm going to get into the passenger variant pretty soon with the PWs. And we can compare performance then, but for now I don't really have enough time with the PWs to assess that really.
Hong Kong 818, Taipei Center, climb flight level 380.
Right, we don't want 380, we want 340, I'll tell them. Taipei Center, Hong Kong 818, can we have flight level 340?
Climb flight level 340.
Climb flight level 340, Hong Kong 818. Alright, so we got 340, lovely. So we can see our gross weight here, 2863, and then we can still see this chart. So I'm planning a cruise at Mach 0.86. So 2863, we can look down here, 2863, we're still looking at 340 roughly. I guess maybe 350, but I'm going to stay at 340, that's perfectly fine for us today. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the freighter, really enjoying this thing. Alright, we'll just continue our climb up. Once we get to Mach 0.86, I'll climb at Mach 0.86, otherwise we'll keep it, well, essentially accelerating. Even though our indicated airspeed staying the same, our Mach number and our ground speed of course are going to increase as we climb higher than higher. We will risk overspeeding if we stay like this. So we'll monitor this as we get to Mach 0.86 is when I will switch to a Mach climb essentially. That clicking is the trim wheel, by the way, I believe. There it is. I downloaded all those lovely orthos and can't really see them, but there you go. Beautiful. You can see here, we've got also nav N1, so this is essentially our, our FMA. You can probably go standard on these altimeters now actually, that's something I forgot. So we'll go 1013 on the altimeters. Back to the standard. 1013. There we are. See now our waypoint's updating, we're now doing waypoint 4 to 5. So this is why I labelled my my OFP, right? So we can see we're going from 4 to 5, so that means we're between Charlie and Magon, right? So now I can really easily see where we are, essentially, right? Otherwise, waypoint 45 doesn't mean anything without having them labeled like this, which is why I've done it. Now, one of the things we can do, since the aircraft isn't flying off Seaver number 3, right? So, what I like to do is, I like to use the last waypoint or a VOR or something near the airport to figure out roughly how far away we are from the airport. Now, this will give us our direct distance from the airport. It's not going to give us track miles, but it's going to be a pretty decent indication, really. So, what we can do for this is go to distance time, and now it's giving us our distance and our time, so 75 nautical miles and 10.3 minutes from waypoint 45. So I know I'm going to be at Magong in 10 minutes, right? What I want to do is if I do, actually I can't yet because I don't have those waypoints in the CV yet, do I? So, but you know, we can probably do that now. We can update our waypoints, because if you remember, we cap out at 9. So now we've used waypoints 1 and 2, we can re-enter 1 and 2 as these, which are essentially our 10th and 11th waypoint. So, now we're on 4 to 5, 1 and 2 have been cleared. I can go back to 1 and 2 and enter these, and then what I'll do is after 9, go to 1. So I'm going to go and do that now, but I'm just going to check where we are. Mach point A, 27,000 foot, looking good. I used to dabble in streaming many years ago, only to do it on Twitch. Seems YouTube is favoured these days, but thinking about doing it again. Go for it, man. It's YouTube is easier for me, really just because I watch more YouTube. I'm not hugely knowledgeable on Twitch. YouTube is sort of my preferred platform, so that's why I sort of decided to do YouTube, really. At top of climb, do you compare your MFOB with the AFOB to secure what someone's doing at climb? Some kind of revenue and stuff, so it's just curious. So, I'll be honest, MFOB, AFOB, you might have to just let me know what those are. I'm gonna guess something fuel on board, something fuel on board, of course. We do check fuel occasionally, but it's sort of, some people will, some people won't. Beauty of the sim is we can, you know, we don't necessarily have to. Minimum fuel required, actual fuel on board. There we are, perfect. I generally don't, to be fair, maybe I should be. But, you know, kind of beauty in the sim is you don't always have to. But it's worth doing. I think on a long haul, especially with an aircraft like this, it's definitely worth doing fuel checks. Absolutely. But for an hour-long flight, then we should be okay, to be fair. But it's more just up to the person, really. True receiver navigation, absolutely. It's midnight here, I have a lot of work tomorrow, I have the flight today. Well, thank you very much, Felis, for joining us. It's been absolutely fantastic. I'm really looking forward to the update tomorrow, and of course the release. I hope the release for everyone else goes well. So really, thank you for being here, and thank you for providing a copy to the channel. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you. So yeah, so I was actually in the process of getting my PPL. So if you're new here, I just finished a degree in Aerospace Systems Engineering, which I will say helped a lot flying this aircraft with having the understanding of the systems and stuff. So I just finished a degree, and my goal is to be an airline pilot. So I started my PPL, I got up to about 23 hours, went solo around 10 hours, really enjoyed it. I have been given an opportunity, I can't share all the details, but essentially an airline in the UK is funding my flight training. That's the full flight training. So it's a really lucky opportunity I've been given, and a very lengthy application process. But yeah, so an airline's funding my license, so next year I'll be travelling to a different country in Europe. It will be very exciting, and I will be starting flight training. So the reason I stopped the PPL is because, of course, it's now being funded for me, so there's no point, continuing and paying out my own pocket. If that makes sense. It's being funded by an airline, so because when I start the course, it's going to be a fully integrated course in Europe, so I have to start from zero anyway. So yeah, next February I'll be off. Hopefully, just got my medical sorted. Came through today actually. We're good to go, and then within about 18-19 months we should be flying for said airline. There we are, watch Mac Barber Pole incoming, there it is. So you can see why I've chosen Mach 0.86. We have little margin, but Mach 0.86 will do us fine. We're still climbing. So what I'm going to do is set the speed here, go to we're already on IAS, and I can hit Mach here. That's going to toggle the autopilot off because I was in IAS, so that's fine. And we can just climb at 1,000 feet per minute on Mach, and it will slowly or level off. So obviously you can't climb in IAS mode and on speed mode because they're going to be fighting. That's why the auto throttle tripped off. But the aircraft will accelerate here to my desired speed, which I essentially am selecting a Mach to hold. So it's going to accelerate probably once we finish climbing. I might just do about 600 feet per minute. Allow ourselves to speed up a little bit. Thank you for that. I was too busy talking. So yeah, training next year, and then I'll be flying for said airline, which should be well, it's a dream come true. I've always wanted to do it. Funding is a big barrier, of course, so very lucky to have that sort of out the way. So there we are, Mach 0.6 there, 0.86 there, so I'm just going to reset that bug to around 0.86, and the aircraft will hold that now. Lovely. Keep the creases side down, shine up in training, will be fine, yeah, absolutely. In Canada 20 years ago, mine was 75k. Yeah, it's expensive. I mean, here so I'm UK based. If you go for an integrated route, which is, you know, full-time with a flight school, you're looking at around £120,000. If you go a modular route, which is sort of a pay-as-you-go, you do it at your own pace, and it's generally a lot cheaper.
1,000 to level off.
You're looking at 80k roughly, and then of course a type rating, maybe another 20 to 30,000 depending what you get rated on. Because of course here in the UK we don't have any, 1500 hour rule, so as soon as you finish your flight training, you have an ATPL. You can go straight to an airline, so you generally get a job, you get a type rating, generally paid for by the airline, and then they take it off your salary. Yeah. So yeah, if you don't have 100k to do the flight training, it's expensive. I certainly didn't. So I went to uni. My plan was to get a job as an engineer for a few years, to save up to pay for the flight training. Which would have taken longer, but it's what you got to do. There's no other choice, really. Luckily, we're getting more and more scholarships and funded schemes. So various airlines now are funding cadets all the way through training. Of course, you pay it back once you fly with them. You do pay it back via a reduced salary. We're leveling off now. So you pay it off, but it gets the initial barrier out of the way, which is really, really important. But again, they are really, really competitive. The one that I got was 18,000 applications, and there was 60 spots. Those were the numbers. So when you think about it like that, it's insane. It really is. Yeah, it's still expensive. It really is. I reckon mine here was here 37k, not including check ride fees such in the States. But my school had a special authorization form from FAA. Didn't require all the minimum miles. Right, I see. Interesting. Going to the airlines for the industry slow. So I had ATP, CTP type rating by my airline. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's fantastic. It's it's difficult for sure. It really is. If you don't have the initial investment, it's very difficult. Which is why I'm glad we're getting more and more airliners. More and more airlines funding cadets. Yes, 18k applications in total for 60 spots. I had many interview stages. I had a whole assessment day I went to, and then I had about a 2-month wait. So I went to the assessment day, had to wait about 2 months, and I got the phone call that I was in, which was just amazing. Good run, good luck with your study. Thanks for showing off the 742 freighter. No worries, thank you very much for being here. It's been absolutely fantastic. No worries at all, and thank you very much. Alright, we're looking good here. As you can see, holding Mach 0.86 pretty nicely. INS doing its thing, and before I got distracted, we were going to update our INSs, weren't we? So I am going to hit remote, so it updates all of them. I'm going to put this in waypoint. So we want to update waypoint 1 and waypoint 2, so let me get those up. Waypoint 1 is going to be north 21535, and then it's going to insert, and then east 114115, insert. 2 is going to be north 22064, insert. East 113465, insert. There we are. So now 1 and 2 are in. Good. I'll turn off remote. Airlines are doing good, building their own pilots, but having to pay back. It's going to be a few years and not very much. Yes, it is. But again, it's I'm still grateful, very grateful for the opportunity, you know. Thankfully I don't find another job. Alright, that's all our waypoints in then, for the rest of the trip. And what I will do, just because we're not using it, and I might as well, we've got a bit of dead time, right, so we should get ahead of the aircraft. Let's get our ILS frequency in then. So ILS frequency is 1093. 193, you can see RWY there. The course for our ILS approach can be 074. How's the career progression go across the pond? Do you start a regional / low-cost carrier and then work your way up to work for a carrier like AW or DLH, or is it decent enough? Honestly, it's a lot of people end up going to a low cost, so you're talking Ryanair, Jet2, EasyJet, etc. But it's not impossible to go to a major carrier like British Airways, Lufthansa, KLM. They all hire out of flight school. I have a friend who finished flight school 3 years ago, went straight to BA, flying the A320s at British Airways. So, you know, they do take cadets. We don't have to go through the, 15 hours and then 1,500 hours and then a regional, and then you get up to a, as you would call it, a legacy. Here, you can go straight to British Airways, for example, or KLM or Lufthansa, or of course they all have differences, but to be honest, for quality of life here, it's actually preferred to work for a low cost. It's preferred here, from what I've heard at least, within the community, really. So I'll be at a low cost
Hong Kong 818, contact Taipei Center on 123.6.
123.6, Air Hong Kong 818. Yeah, we sort of, you have flight school 18 months, you get your ATPL, air transport pilot license, you go straight to an airline, get a type rating. That's how it works here. 1236, let me just put this in, contact them. Taipei Center, Air Hong Kong 818, level at 340.
Flight level 340.
Okay, they've misheard what I said. I'm going to bring the speed bug down. We're going a little bit above where I want to be. To be fair, here in the States, getting to a wide body on primary is the primary end goal, but if Oh, in Europe, the flying seems so rare, and I wouldn't be much in a hurry to fly longer. Yeah, one of the things I quite like, let's go for a nice little wind view while we chat. In Europe, so the low cost I'll be flying for will be, you know, it's UK based. But we'll fly to virtually anywhere in Europe, Iceland, you know, Scandinavia, Spain, Spanish Islands, Canaries, Greece, all over Europe, even getting into North Africa as well. So it's very varied, yeah, for us. So actually, some people want to go wide body here, of course. Some people don't. Personal preference. You know, for me personally, it's probably going to be a decision I make later on. You know, if you've got a family, stuff like that, that factors in, right? So, yeah, we have a lot more of a choice here, to be fair. We can stay a short haul and become a captain quicker. Or we can go, you know, go to a wide body. You stay a first officer for a lot longer, but then you can do, see, you have so many options. You can go first officer wide body and stay there till you're captain, or you can go first officer wide body. You can then downgrade, or, well, I shouldn't say downgrade, but you can go back to the to short haul as a captain. You know, so there's so many options. There really is. That's great. Yeah, I'll go fly a 4-hour 30 leg and still haven't made it past the Midwest. Yeah, I gotta say, you have some lovely terrain there, though. You do indeed. But yeah, it's very varied here in Europe, which is quite nice. Lots of different countries to visit. So let's do. We'll start thinking about top of descent. I think we're a fair bit away from top of descent, but what I can do, now we have the waypoints in, we go to distance time, it shows us our distance and time from waypoint 5 to 6. If we put 0 and 2, remember 2 is now our last waypoint, we can get our distance and time, direct distance, not track miles, so we need to be careful, between our current position and the waypoint closest to the airport. So it's our best, you know, guess. If you did want to, you could put the latitude longitude of the airport as waypoint 3, I guess, and do that. I'm just going to go ahead and do waypoint change 0, 2. And I don't even need to insert, I can just leave it like that. So it won't actually change anything, I can just have this as my distance and time. So here, as you can see, 283 nautical miles away, so plenty. For our descent, what we want to do is, we're at what, 340? So 340, we'll times 34 by 3, so we're looking at approximately, say, 103 nautical miles to descend. I'm going to add 10 to slow down, so around 110, roughly 110, 115 nautical miles we can look at slowing down. So of course our track miles is going to be a bit longer, so actually we're going to start descending a bit earlier than we should. But, you know, that's fine, that's what we want. We don't want to descend too late and have to, you know, dive it or, or something. To be fair, I'd rather fly short haul in Europe. There isn't much of a time difference, no jet lag. You get to sleep in your own bed, more like a regular chopper. Yeah, so another great thing about the airline I'll be with, hopefully, and what I really like about it is we have, the way the rosters work is you do one flight outbound, one flight inbound. So you start at your base, you fly out to some airport in Europe, you'll fly back, you'll be done. Now that's not guaranteed. Sometimes you'll have 4 legs, for example, in a day. Most of the time you have 2 legs because they're, you know, generally longer. You're talking 4 hours to Tenerife, for example, from the UK. So you do 4 hours there, 4 hours back, you're done. So if you start early, you're home quite early. Also, if you start late, so you might have a 2 o'clock start, say in the afternoon, you'll be back at, say, you know, midnight. It's not too bad, you know, you get used to it, but you don't have like 6 flights a day like other carriers, I know. So that's quite nice as well, actually. Have a look at screenshots in the Discord. Let's do that. Thank you for reminding me. There's a load of screenshots here. Okay, there's a load of screenshots. Let's have a look. So, here we are from Freight Box. It's 742 stuff. Oh yes, we need to get this livery. The Battleship Grey United. Definitely got to do that on the passenger variant at some point. Absolutely. That's the conversion, I suppose. Looks nice. A bit more here. Yeah, this 747 just looks fantastic, doesn't it? Really does. Little cheeky little MD-80 in there as well. Look at that. Front cargo loader on Togo Mod 3. 742 should work on 742F to see engineering from 1000. Yeah, look at that. So once, I'm pretty sure XP Javelin will update it anyway. Yeah, this will be pretty cool once it's all in. From XP Javelin. Classic livery. This is another one I want to do into Heathrow. Look at these screenshots. Absolutely fantastic. Everyone's flying the Felis. Great stuff. Sounds pretty good, yeah. Go for a quick flyby. Oh yes. Beautiful aircraft. What we can do is we can check. We do a bit of a fuel check here. I'm trying to panel lighting up a bit. There we are. Let's have a look. So, we can see our number 2 and 3 main. We have we have just, we'll call it 3.2 tons. We've got 3.4 in here, 200 kilogram difference roughly. That's fine. If it gets towards 500, then maybe we'll think about balancing it. In fact, you know what? For the purposes of the stream, let's do a quick balance on the fuel. So, see how much fuel we've used. So, we need to transfer, essentially we need to transfer fuel from the right to the left tank. So what we want to actually do is open this valve and turn off these boost pumps. Now we're going to look at the fuel pressure. We don't want this to go to zero, otherwise we're going to starve our engine. So let's turn the pumps off. Now we're good. Now we won't be using fuel from this tank, and we're going to be using fuel from this tank. Now what we can do, we'll hit the timer. That's just going to remind me that we're doing something, we're transferring fuel. As you can see, this is not going to tick down, this is going to tick down. Once this reaches 3130, we've balanced the fuel. We can turn these back on and close the valve, essentially. So it's not going to take too long there. Starting the chrono is just a habit. If I look at that and that's moving, I know that, oh, there's some, you know, I'm doing something here. You better remember, because we don't want to forget about this, of course. If we look, then we're going to have 3,100 kilos of fuel once we are done balancing these. We have 1,600 plus 1,700 here. So that's what? That's 3,300. So we have more in these tanks than we do in these tanks. So what we will do is we'll probably open these. We'll open this. So keep an eye on that. We'll come back to it in a second. How far away are we? 235 nautical miles and 30 minutes from the airport. Of course, 30 minutes at our current ground speed. That's of course going to change as we slow down. Now when we do go for our descent, how do we know what vertical, of course no VNAV, so how do we know what vertical speed to descend at? We're going to go for a standard, you know, sort of 3-degree descent. So a nice easy way to figure that one out is get your ground speed times it by 5. So I'm going to round this to 450. Or to be honest, we can round it up to 500. We can descend at 2,500 feet per minute. I might do 450. We'll take a look at the ground speed closer to the time and see what kind of ground speed we're looking at. Beautiful. This is my 4 flights in total with this aircraft. Absolutely loving it. You see here, interestingly, the EGT on our number 1 engine is slightly lower than even our number 4 engine, which is interesting. Our M1s, however, are pretty synced, so is our N2 and our fuel flow, so I'm not too worried about that. Everything is looking good. You can see our window heats are on at the minute. That's why we have this switch on, which is the power lights. We turn that off, you don't get power to these lights. Of course we want that, so we have that on. Lovely. We can see here, distance time, we've got 2 minutes to our next waypoint, 15 miles. You can see alert because we're within sort of 5 minutes of it, so it's going to switch and we're going to make a right turn fairly soon. You can also see the distance here, miles and ground speed. Lovely stuff. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream. Wonder what that is. Is that a pitch? So, is that roughly 2 at the minute? Could be, you know. We are, what, we're at roughly 2 degrees, 2.5. Interesting if we have pitch there. Go for a bit of a wing view. We should make the right turn fairly soon. When we do, I'm going to hit shift F1. Sorry, don't, just shift 1. Get a lovely little cinematic turning view. We should be making the turn any minute now. Yeah, again, I am very much enjoying this aircraft. I really, really am. I think it gives a greater appreciation for what goes on behind the scenes in an airliner. You know. Well, let's. We're going to start the turn. It looks like. So this lovely cinematic shot. Oh yeah. Behind the overhead panels of roll indicator, I didn't see that probably. Behind the overhead. We're talking all the way back here.
Air Hong Kong 818,
no
contact Hong Kong radar on 133.7.
That's cool. That's really cool that they've implemented that as well. Contact Hong Kong radar 133.7, Air Hong Kong 818. Alright, 1337. Hong Kong radar, Air Hong Kong 818, level at flight level 340.
Air Hong Kong 818, Hong Kong radar identified. Good afternoon.
Whereabouts are we looking? I don't think oh, here. This will be for the PA. This will be for the passenger announcement. but I don't think it actually does anything. But it will be for PA. Which, if you use the passenger version, you can, if you turn on PA, you can listen to the PA that they do, which is really cool. So it's going to be on this leg that we're on now. I'm going to give you a little idea of where we are, sort of visually. See how well the INS is followed? Now here, you can see we have a bit of drift. So it's really not much at all, but you can see how we're not perfectly. That's a bit of INS drift, and you can see how it's actually grown. As we've flown this leg, you can see how it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Really cool. But you can see roughly where we are now. Now this leg is when we're going to be starting our descent roughly, and then coming in past Macau here and then into the ILS for the runway. Is the cabin modelled, and did you do DME updating? So I've not done a DME update. The drift doesn't really call for a DME update for this flight at the minute. Yes, we've drifted slightly, but really not much at all. I will do a DME update in tomorrow's stream to showcase it. For now, for today I won't. The cabin is modelled, although it is a freighter. So I did show the. You know what the freighter is the cabin, or the freighter area is pressurized. So here we have sort of a bit of a cabin, the top deck, actually done quite nicely. And then we can open the down here and head down into here, and this is all modeled. It's really nice. This will be empty, of course, when you before you've loaded, but you can see we are full of freight at the minute. Really nice. Yeah, all modeled and very nicely done as well. And the sound's changing dynamically as well as you go to different areas. There's that.
Delta 3 would like to level at flight level 300 for a few minutes.
Readiness certificate,
Climb that high, request flight level
registration
290.
to Felis Leopard.
Flight level 300 Delta 3.
Felis Boeing. Nice. That's a nice touch actually.
Delta 3 request flight level 300.
How are we doing? Still a touch high on the Mac. Let's bring it down slightly. I know this is controlling airspeed, but it does control on Mac at the minute. Looks amazing with the CF6 engine. Cargo compartment isn't pressurized. It is pressurized. It is. That's why I opened it. If it was pressurized, I wouldn't have opened it. It's all pressurized with the same at the same pressure. Yeah, CF6 engine look amazing. Really nice. So let's see here, 171 nautical miles. So we'll keep an eye on this. Like I said, when we're around 115, 120 nautical miles to be safe, we'll start to think about our descent. Expect to be arriving in around 30 minutes, around 30 to 40 minutes a minute. You can have a little look at our pressurization here. We'll keep an eye on it. You can see that our diff pressure is actually getting up, or already is a bit high. At 35,000 feet, we're only pressurized to around 4,800 feet cabin altitude. Realistically, if we wanted to, we could increase this to lower the differential pressure. But for now, we're close, but we're not, at the red, so we'll leave it for now.
Cathay 505, contact Hong Kong approach on
Anchorage is going to get a lot of visitors to this place. Yes, Anchorage is because we have an Atlas livery. I'll show you once we got on the ground the liveries that come with it. It's off the top of my head, we get this Air Hong Kong livery, you get the Southern Air livery, Atlas, Air France Cargo, and I think that's it. After grab lunch, but I was typing earlier, got to fly an old Warbird from California to EA Airventure in Wisconsin for the air show, and it's fantastic getting to fly low cost takes. Oh wow, that is, the geography was awesome. Yeah, that is really cool, flying a Warbird. I tell you, if I could fly any aircraft, just one, any aircraft, it would have to be Spitfire. It would have to be, and Concorde would be a close second, and to be fair, the 747-200 would be a close third. Yeah, Warbird's fantastic. That's really cool.
Hong Kong radar, United 869, let's flight level 360.
United 869, Hong Kong radar identified. Good afternoon.
They're not welcome. How's it going, my friend? Where did you buy its early release? Yeah, so it is. This is a early pre-release version, which was very kindly given to me by the developer Felis. However, it should be out this week, later on in the week, and it will be available on the Xplane.org store and on Sim Market. If you have the passenger variant, you will get a pretty big discount. It will be down to just $30 for the freighter if you have the passenger variant, and that's automatically applied, I believe, if you purchase from the same store. We'd love to fly Spitfire someday. We'll inform Navy HU-16 Albatross and OV-10 Bronco Albatross in seaplane. So we make stops on remote lakes for a swim. It's fantastic. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I'll tell you, that's sort of proper flying, right? It's very different. I mean, don't get me wrong, airliners are great. I love them. It's what I want to fly for a living. But flying something like this, what we're flying now, or anything GA, VFR, you know, it feels different. It really does. I enjoy it. I really do. There's definitely a love for just flying VFR. You know, relatively low, across some beautiful terrain.
Hong Kong approach on 119er decimal 1.
119er decimal 1, United 869.
How is the pilot program, Trish? Do you mean the flight sim? It's fantastic. Really good. Absolutely love the airline job I have. It's fun, but it's also work. With GA and Warbird stuff and like anything else. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think, given the opportunity, once I'm flying for the airlines, that's my job, and I'm sure I'll love it. But I will definitely stay flying some GA stuff. I mean, we do some GA on the sim. Since I started my PPL, we've been flying more and more GA on the sim and on Microsoft Flight Sim, and it's just so much fun. It really is. We had a margarita machine plugged into the galley, so just about flying for the day, could have some refreshments. That sounds fantastic. It really does. That's great. I mean, your PPL. Oh, of course, my bad. Yeah, going well. It's on pause for the moment. Due to a more exciting opportunity, so yeah, we'll be restarting flight training in February next year, and that'll be full flight training all the way up to an airline transport pilot license, which I'm very much looking forward to learning how to do all of this for real. There's so much you can teach yourself with the sim, and there's so much I have taught myself, and no doubt a lot of the stuff I've taught myself that I then mentioned in my interview helped get the program I got. But learning how to do all this for real, I'm really looking forward to it. Because at the minute, all of this is pretty much self-taught. So doing it for real, can't wait. Man, if I was to become a pilot in the US, I'd love to fly these big birds out of Anchorage and Hong Kong. There's just something about this freighter is always one stitch better. Right? The older aircraft they're then converted to freighters are just beautiful. The 767s, 757s, MD-11, 747. I mean, the 400s are still in use all over the place. Atlas especially. cargo looks. It's just great. 120 nautical miles out, we can start looking at descending. So I'm going to get descent clearance now. Hong Kong radar, Air Hong Kong 818, we are ready to descend.
Air Hong Kong 818, roger.
Okay, they obviously didn't hear what I said. Correction, Hong Kong radar, Air Hong Kong 818, request descent. Maybe we'll keep it simple, they'll hear this. Say intention is great, but it does mishear you sometimes.
Air Hong Kong 818, go ahead with your request.
Request descent, Air Hong Kong 818.
Air Hong Kong 818, cleared AB4 Alpha into Hong Kong. At your discretion, descend, flight level 110.
There we are. Cleared AB4 Alpha into Hong Kong, and at our discretion, flight level 110, Air Hong Kong 818. Alright, we are cleared down to 110. So, a couple of things we need to do. I will do... Oh, hello. What's going on here? We'll keep an eye on those for now. Oh, they're overheating. Hydraulics are overheating. Engine pump continuous, they're running. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. We do have hydraulics S1, hydraulics S2 overheat. Yeah, look at those temps. Okay, we'll keep an eye. Not entirely sure why that is. But let's start our descent. So, we'll clear down to 110. And what I'm going to do, ground speed 460, I'm going to go with 2,500 feet per minute. So, I'm going to do 300 knots is fine. I'm going to switch to speed. So it's going to hold, the auto's going to hold 300 knots. I'm going to go vertical speed. And I'm going to start descent 2,500. In fact, we'll do 2 and then we'll go down to 2.5. I just want to gauge what the, I don't want to go to 2.5 and start overspeeding. It's just 4 looks of low quantity. Yes. Indeed, I wonder if, I can't refill this, unfortunately though. I don't think. Yeah, I can't refill it in the air. Interesting. That's the first time I've had that. Maybe because I've done 4 flights and I've not filled it yet. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. The pressure's still okay, but the temperatures are high. Now, if I turn them off, I'm not sure if we're going to lose flight controls or whether the other two will pick up the slack. So I'll keep an eye for now. Your background with simming, etc. definitely gives you a leg up. When I instructed, you could tell who really had a passion for it and who did it because they read a news article about the money. Yeah, I think the same. My instructor for my PPL was absolutely fantastic. Looks like we're still using some thrust to maintain 300, so I think we're safe to go down to 2,500 and roughly get an idle plus descent. Should be fine. My instructor said the same during my PPL. It was, fantastic because here's the thing: the amount of stuff I learned in the sim, I could then transfer it to the real world, and it just gave me the capacity to learn the other stuff which the sim doesn't teach you. Like the sim is great for flows, procedures, flying circuits, and when I say flying circuits, I mean remembering when to turn, basically remembering when to turn, remembering your downwind checks, stuff like that, because you can sit there and do it all day long in the sim. Hand flying, maybe not so much, depends on your hardware, the sim you're using, etc. But the real thing always feels different to the sim, right? So I could focus on the hand flying aspect, like, hand flying for a landing, for example, which I didn't practice in the sim because it felt too different. But my checklist, I knew, I knew my downwind checks, I knew my routes when I was flying cross country. Definitely helps. System 4, no reason, crash fire. Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, 1 has plenty of fluid, 4 doesn't. I think it's because I wonder it's because I always start engine 4 first. I wonder how much of a difference that makes. Or maybe we have a leak of some sort. Maybe there's some sort of leak. The thing is, I'm not do we have brake pressure? Okay, we have brake pressure. This is where it gets tricky because I'm not versed in the failures and non-normal operations. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, I think we got low quantity and then hydraulics are overheating. But see, if I turn these off, I'm not sure what will happen to our... Oh, hello. Oh no, we're losing... That's not good. Might be a bug, feel like you can see lower pressure and fog to lower hydroponics in the system. Yeah, the way this is acting could be a bug. Felis did say there was some bugs. So it could be a bug that has just only happened. Switch to continuous. Well, this could make the landing very interesting. I feel like this is a bug, if anything. I'm not sure you'd see pressures acting up like this. Fluctuating like that. I could be wrong, but... What's happening to our brake pressures are fine. Okay, that's really what I'm worried about. Look, yeah, we are getting... high pressure, okay. Gonna have to keep an eye on this. Good lord, counting on you here. Yeah, so Felis did say there was some bugs that he's already fixed. I've not updated the latest version, so it could very well be that. Fuel is used to cool hydraulics with side lower fuel quantity. Hydraulics can overheat. Interesting. Let's have a look at the fuel then. Oh, okay. I found out why. One, we totally forgot about the balancing. 2, we have no fuel, so I'm going to open these. I'm going to turn these off. I'm going to let these drain. Yep, that's it. Figured it out. So, this is what I mean. If you don't manage the fuel properly, you get issues, and I've got issues, clearly. Right, we're going to let the reserve drain then. That should hopefully fix. That was a good call, yeah. Fuel, cooling hydraulics, good call. We don't have a huge amount of fuel on board.
Air Hong Kong 818, speed 280 knots.
Speed 280 knots, Hong Kong 818. We're going to have to get some speed break out. We're high. We've been distracted by our hydraulics. That's some serious level of detail. Yep, this is it. This is why we, if I put these back to auto, they're running. We're getting fuel back into these tanks. So at the minute, these two are feeding everything. But we've got an imbalance here, so I should probably turn. I don't want to turn these off to rebalance and have everything on one tank. That's not a good idea. Oh, sorry, they'll turn these off and have all running on this tank. Let's just let these drain. We have an imbalance. We'll figure that out later.
Cathay 912, contact Hong Kong approach on 119.1. 119.1, Cathay 912.
16,000. We didn't do pressurization either because we got distracted. So we set this to the airport altitude on the white scale, which is sea level. And it's descended anyway for us. Good, okay.
Air Hong Kong 818, contact Hong Kong approach on 119.1.
Contact Hong Kong approach 119.1, Air Hong Kong 818. What's our minimum fuel? Because I'm concerned that we're on... that we're low on fuel. We got 9.1, that's not a lot. We burned 10 tons an hour. So it looks like we did not take a lot of fuel. We took 2 tons more than what Simbrief said, to be fair. Right, minimum fuel.
Air Hong Kong 818, contact Hong Kong approach on 123.8.
Hong Kong approach 123.8, Air Hong Kong 818. Okay, we'll sort ATC out in a second. So our final reserves is 4 tons, okay. But our reserves overall is 9.1 tons, so we are getting into our reserve. In fact, we are into our reserves at the minute. Okay.
Air Hong Kong 818, descend altitude 1500.
Yeah, they're still, this is it with same intention. They're still talking to us and they told us to switch. So I'm going to ignore that and switch to the radio they told me to switch to. 123.8. Hong Kong approach, Hong Kong 818. Right, we're at 280. We're going to slow it down to 250.
1000 to level off.
Air Hong Kong 818, heavy Hong Kong approach identified. High cleared limes transition. Expect the ILS runway 7 left approach into Hong Kong.
Cleared lime transition, expect the ILS 7 left approach into Hong Kong, Air Hong Kong 818. Okay, we need to change our ILS frequency. Fuel time to 3000, so we can continue all the way down to 3000, back to vertical speed. Give me 2000, nope, vertical speed, IAS, auto throttle, 250, speed. This should be in cruise. Right. Lights. Well, we have no hydraulic. Really? We have absolutely no hydraulic pressure and hydraulic in 4.
10,000.
We have quantity.
Air System 1211, Hong Kong departure radar contact. Continue climb via OCI 1F.
Well, hydraulics 4 is gone. Well, that was, yeah, this is my fault for not managing our fuel very well, being pretty low fuel. But we've emptied those out.
11 contact Drew High approach on 123.85.
Fuel temp is 30 degrees. Yeah, so that's not too bad. Alright, well, we make do. Boost pumps. So these are off at the minute because I'm transferring fuel, but if I close these, get the boost pumps back on, hopefully that will help cool it down. I don't know what's on hydraulics 4 is the problem. Now where are we going? We need to go direct to limes. Limes
Cathay 840
is
heavy, Hong Kong departure, climb flight level 300.
0 to 2, insert.
Left level 300, XP40. Left level 300, XP40.
Well, we did screw this up a little bit, but there you go. Oh, I switched that to INS. That's my bad. I switched it to heading rather than INS. Alright, we're continuing to descend. We're way too fast. So I need to arrest this rate of descent. And I'm going to go down to 240. Well, my apologies for it not being perfect, but there it is. You do get failures in this aircraft if you don't manage it properly, and that's exactly what's happened today. So I guess a good showcase of the system depth. We have to manually extend the gear. There we are. Look at the failures that we have. Our ADPs, our EDPs have failed. We fix all. We can maybe save ourselves a little bit. Yeah, they're just failing again. Okay, so what I can do is, let me do this to save us a little bit. If I turn off conditional failures and then go to, there we are. Now I think we should be fine. We're back.
Cathay 6901, contact Hong Kong.
All right, we're good.
135.6.
Right, saved it. We cheated, but we saved it. We're descending nicely. Nice rate of descent. I'm gonna go down to 230. They changed our runway, so I need to switch that now. Does it reverse a force feedback thing? Am I getting a motor stick from my home cockpit? As far as I know, yeah, I don't think it's, there's no force feedback. It's just, since it's fly-by-wire, right? So, okay, well, we fixed it. So, conditional failures do indeed work. Our pumps failed because we overheated. I love that. That's my fault. In fact, you know what? It was on purpose to showcase the system depth of this aircraft. That's what we were doing. We were testing the conditional failures. Okay, but we're back on track.
8905, climb flight level 330.
Right, so we did change our runway to 07 left, which is unfortunate because it's going to be a pretty long taxi back, but there it is. We're descending nicely. We're going to be down at 3,000, so that's fine.
1,000 to level off.
I love the call outs. 1,000 to level off. If so immersive, you feel like you're working with the crew. It's fantastic. So remember, Limes is our last waypoint. So after this waypoint, in 18 miles, we can't use the INS anymore because we don't have anything programmed after in terms of waypoints. So then we'll be doing headings and then eventually onto the ILS. So should gravity extend the gear just by motion? Maybe tomorrow. But I don't know the procedures for all of this, so we'll do it next time maybe. Right, leveling off 3,000. We didn't even go local QNH, so let's do that. Then I'll set up this ILS because we don't want altimeters to be wrong. 1022. Luckily, we had an altimeter error, but it's going to make us higher than what we should be, so that's okay. 1022. There's a lot to do here. Landing performance.
Air Hong Kong 818, heavy, clear for the ILS runway 7 left approach via Limes.
Set the speed bugs. Cleared ILS 7 left approach via Limes. Hong Kong 818. Okay. ILS frequency for this runway is 11155. 1155. The course should be the same. It's a parallel runway. 074. There we are. Okay, after Limes, we're going to be flying a heading of 338, so I'm going to preset that. Okay, 338, 10 miles out. When we're about 2 miles away, I will switch to heading mode. I will, thank you very much. I will check out that link. There's a lot to learn in this aircraft, and I just got used to normal operations rather than non-normal operations. What's our minimums? Minimum 223.
Hong Kong departure, Cathay 165 heavy, looking to vector around the storm in front of us. Can you give clearance?
Okay, so we set the speed bugs, didn't we? You have runway 3,452 meters available. We can take the minimum auto brake.
Contacting tower on 118.7, Cathay 150 heavy.
Okay, so now it's we're gonna go heading mode. I'm gonna track outbound a little bit because we made the turn pretty quick there. Why is it continuing to? Where's it going? Heading mode. There we are. Jeez. Turning. Oh, it's turning directly.
Linear 212 negative descending on the RMB Yankee, runway 07 right. You've
Right,
just cleared
so
it for the
that's
approach.
done. Checklist.
Descend checklist.
Now India 212, climb flight level 240.
Pressurization set. Landing
Linear
data.
212
1
request
moment.
RMB Yankee, runway
How do we do that?
07 right at Hong Kong.
Let's see.
Cleared once again for the RMB Yankee,
we
runway
gonna turn,
07
please?
right at Hong Kong. Linear 212.
There we are. Well, apologies guys, it's not the best approach here, but
Annunciator lights.
we'll figure it out.
Checked. Altimeters. Set and cross-checked.
Set and cross-checked.
Landing lights. On. Radio and nav instruments. Hold on. Radio altimeters. Set.
Open our IFR flight
Descent approach checklist.
Chicago O'Hare.
Give me 1 second for that clearance.
Right, flaps 1, 227. Flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
I'm basically just vectoring at this point. This is ortho for XP, standard ortho for XP. Flaps 5, 207. Flaps 5, 207.
Flaps 5.
Okay, we're getting there. Now, I just had a look, and if you look here, we are, you know, we'll say we're heading 265. Here, we do not have 265. Now we have 265. Look, our number one compass has failed, potentially. So I'm going to set that to, because that's more accurate now. Even that's not that accurate. Got a massive difference with our two compasses. That's definitely going to make
Eva
things
3223,
interesting.
speed below 250 knots.
So now we need to go down. So
Eva
let's
3223,
make
turn right
the
heading
right
040.
Turn right heading 040, Eva 3223.
Flaps
7,
10.
make a right. We're essentially on a going to be on a downwind. Well, I am slightly concerned my ILS is not going to work because it's not the compass on the overhead panel. Here, right? Yeah, I don't know if I've got. It's definitely way out, and I've not had that on the test sector, so I've just entirely messed it up. But the HSI still looks okay.
Cathay 448, Hong Kong departure radar contact. Cathay 448, Hong
Yeah,
Kong
this looks
departure
more
climb
accurate
and
now.
maintain flight level 100.
On compass 2, so I'm going to take that.
Flight level 100, Cathay 448.
Let's go about there. Level off, and I'll go land. We've got nav GS. Right, please intercept the ILS now. Otherwise we are very much going to have screwed it up. Interesting that my compass is so far out of alignment. My H is line. Compared to my magnetic compass. Airport is just over there. Alright, there we are.
Zulu, climb flight level 230.
Looks like we're intercepting the localizer. Or not.
Localizer alive.
There we are. Okay, good. Yeah, ILS is the correct one, isn't it? Right. 167.20.
Flaps
That's
20.
20. Now I'm gonna get my checklist ready. So auto brakes are set, engine ignition.
Speedbird 32 heavy, Hong Kong departure, climb flight level 320.
Climb flight level 320, speedbird.
And we'll contact tower in a second here.
Hong Kong departure,
118.
Island QNH 1019er,
Air Hong Kong
Okay.
818, contact Hong Kong Tower on 118.7.
118.7, Air Hong Kong 818. Okay. So it was correct before. Hong Kong Tower, Air Hong Kong 818 established on the ILS for 07 at left.
Air Hong Kong 818, Heavy Macau Tower. At Hong Kong, the SMS-7 is not a recognized procedure. Please
Macau
clarify your
Tower?
request.
No. Not 1187.
Air Hong Kong 818, Heavy
There it
Hong
is.
Kong Tower, roger. Continue approach runway 7 left. Air Hong Kong 818, Heavy Hong Kong Tower, wind 030 runway 7 left, cleared to land.
Clear to land, runway 7 left, Air Hong Kong 818. Again, I apologise for the poor showing there. That wasn't a very good example of how to fly an approach. Let's go flaps 25.
Flaps 25.
And go down.
Gear down. Gears down. Green
yeah.
light.
Alright, we'll go flaps 30.
Flaps 30.
Well, tomorrow we'll do a better job. It was the failure that
Before landing
screwed me up a little bit.
Auto brakes as desired. Ignition.
Alright.
Flight start. Signs.
On.
Look at that.
Down. In. Green
Right.
light.
Ready for the landing?
Speed
Got a bit of a
brakes.
crosswind.
Armed. Flaps. Flaps 30. Green light. Hydraulics. Normal. Landing checklist complete.
Okay. Landing checklist is complete. So, we can disarm the auto throttle and we'll just match that up there. Alright, and I think it's time that we can disconnect. We have finished to land. Alright, let's disconnect there. My aircraft. Needs a bit of trim.
Welcome to Hong Kong.
Oh, it's
Contact ground on 122.6.
Definitely windy.
122.6, Cathay 335.
1000.
Cathay 316.
Bit
Contact
fast,
departure.
correcting.
Going to departure over Cathay 316. Thank you, bye-bye.
Get the yoke back. Right, getting high, correcting, and fast. We use that power. still a bit high. Try and correct, but we want to watch that descent rate.
500.
If she flies heavy. She definitely flies heavy. Right, we're on speed now.
Contact departure.
Sending very quick. Watch the sink rate. There's minimums.
Minimums.
Jeez.
$50, $40, $30, $20, $10.
Oh, get it down. Come on. There it is.
Reverse.
Trying to manage that crosswind. Alright, reverse of the route.
Air Hong Kong 818, welcome to Hong Kong. Contact ground on 122.6.
Auto
Take
brake
this
on.
high speed here. 1226 Hong Kong 818. Right, we need to get the body gear steering on. As we vacate, auto brake goes off. Alright, we got it down. We'll take a look at the replay, of course. 1226, I'm gonna come to a stop. 1226. Alright, let's come to a stop here. We shouldn't be on, we should be past the whole short line now. Alright, flaps up, speed brakes.
Flaps
Hong Kong ground, Air Hong Kong 818 vacated, runway 07 left. Alright, weather radar, standby. TCAS standby, flight directors off.
Air Hong Kong 818, Hong Kong ground, taxi to Terminal 1 Gate W121 via Charlie 8, Charlie, Foxtrot, Foxtrot 7. Hold short of runway 25 center, then Alpha 11, Bravo, Whiskey. Good day.
I am working.
Taxi to Terminal 1, Gate Whiskey 121 via Charlie 8, Charlie, Foxtrot, Foxtrot 7. Hold short runway 25 center, then Alpha 11, Bravo, Whiskey. Air Hong Kong 818. Did you land still floating? It's tall. I'm just gonna. I think it's just.
For departure.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. It's giving me a taxiway that on this scenery doesn't exist, so I'm gonna make up. Well, I'm gonna have to make up my own taxi routing. Which is fine. We're gonna make a right turn here. Give it some power. Make a right turn here. Get the ignitions off.
Hong Kong ground.
Oh, absolutely. Take the 747 up. Absolutely. Yeah, tomorrow we'll hopefully we'll have some VOR, either departures or arrivals, rather than relying on the INS the entire time. Because doing some VOR flying with this is a lot of fun. And hopefully we won't overheat our hydraulics and fail everything and have a compass which is not aligned. Definitely made things interesting. I mean, if we look at our compass here, well, we shouldn't be moving, or well, we shouldn't be accelerating. If we stop for a second, just make sure we're not accelerating. Let it settle. Conditional failures, yes, fantastic. So much fun. So that's going to be 240, 250. I'm going to call it 255. If we go here, we're reading 24, 25, 255, so now it's okay, but on compass... Okay, interesting. It wasn't... I mean, you guys saw that, right? It wasn't correct earlier, but now it is. Okay. Aircraft's out to get me today. How much fuel did we land with? Because we definitely didn't have much. I wonder what... Funny thing is, I took that same amount of fuel on my test sector and had no issues. So I've got no idea what happened there. We had less than a kilo, less than a ton in the number 1 and 4 tanks. We had 5.3. So we were almost declaring minimum fuel. Well, almost declaring an emergency due to fuel. We weren't far off. Alright, we need to make a left here. That was interesting. For sure. Start the after landing checklist then.
After landing checklist.
Coffee 111, ready for taxi.
Galley power.
Either way, I hope you enjoyed it. And we forgot the galley power again, didn't we?
Off.
Turn it off.
Ignition. Off. Body gear steering. Arm. Speed brakes. Down detect. Flaps. Back. No lights. Transponder. Standby. Radar. Standby. After landing checklist. Complete.
10 to 20 tons for takeoff, climb, 10 for each hour cruise, and 10 tons at least for alternate. I was planning it that way instead of following SimBrief. Yeah, I didn't follow SimBrief, to be fair. SimBrief said 24 tons. We took 26 at the start. I took 26 on my... because I used the built-in calculator. I'm not sure why we were burning so much extra fuel. I mean, we burned 20 tons in an hour and 15-minute flight, including descent. Now we should be using 10 tons an hour, so our planned burn should have only been about what, 15, 16, 17 tons, not 20. It's a lot higher than I would have thought. Now we need to make a left because the scenery isn't updated with a new layout, unfortunately. Yeah, we used the calculator. We even put 600 nautical miles in rather than it was actually like 400, so we took extra fuel. Really strange that we burned so much extra because I haven't been burning that much. I've always landed like with 16 tons or 12 tons, not 5. I wonder if we no, the hydraulic issue was caused by burning extra fuel, wasn't it? Interesting. I'll have a look at the I'm sure I did something incorrect. I'm sure of it. But look here, if using the same calculator, it's saying trip fuel 16 tons, total 24, and we took 26, didn't we? So we burned a lot more than we thought. Very interesting. I'll have to watch I'll watch it on replay and see what we did. I mean, we had to use our reserves. Interesting for sure. But hey, it's the fun of learning this aircraft. It really is. It keeps you on your toes. Not like a 320. Make a right turn here. Yeah, alternate distance should be higher. I think you're correct. What's the alternate distance at the minute? Oh, 0. Well, that'll do it. I wonder if we had a headwind as well. Headwind set to 0. What was the average wind? According to OFP, 260043, which would give us a headwind, considering we're traveling, majority were traveling west. So 260 would give us, yeah, okay. Right, we're gonna go over there. Now, yes, I know I just cut that completely, but I don't feel like going all the way on to the other side of the airport. I hope Thai Models updates the scenery with a update, because the layout is old, and Navigraph is updated with a new layout. Saint Tensions is updated with a new layout. So it tries to give me taxiways which don't exist, according to the scenery. Los Packs, welcome. Long time no stream. Yeah, it's been we've been busy recently. We've been really busy, but we're back flying this insanely good aircraft. Alright, well, yeah, you learned something new. Now remember, we will take a look at the replay. And we're just going to head over here to the cargo stands. We'll take this, one of these, I think. Let's make a left, and then park next to that Cathay 74. So that's 74. I think that's a 8, right? 748. Maybe a 744. Definitely not a 742. But we'll park next to the younger brother. Now we do need to get the APU going, so that's just over here. We'll let the door open, then we'll hit start. Yeah, I think 744, right? 748 would have a far sort of larger second deck. Those lights are extinguished, doors open, we'll start the APU. Not that we have much fuel to do it, but there you go.
Whiskey 42 requesting start of our APU.
That conditional failure was really cool. That was really cool.
Cathay 506, APU start approved.
That's why it's important to keep those tanks enough, well, give those tanks enough fuel. And that's what the reserves are there for as well. Good job we can fix stuff in flight. Otherwise, that would have been interesting. Looks like 740 won't have winglets. Yeah. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to park, you know what, shall we park, we'll just park next to it, I think. Turn the runway turn off lights off. And we'll take this next one. And then we'll shut down and take a look at the replay.
Cathay 472, contact tower on 118.7.
Over to tower on 118.7, Cathay 472.
Should have a VDGS system.
Contact tower 118.7, Cathay 54, have a good morning.
Can't believe it. All of my previous 3 flights have gone absolutely perfect, no issues. And of course on my stream flight something goes wrong. But oh well, it's a good chance to show off the conditional failures, I guess. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully no issues. Yeah, I'll just follow this VDGS system in. He's picked up that we're 747-200. Alright, we'll stop there, we'll set the parking brakes.
Okay. 217, Hong Kong ground, pushback and engine start approved, face west.
Okay, APU has started. We'll get the bleed on, close the field, we'll check the APU gens. So frequency and volts looks good, which means I will close the buses. There we are. I will close the bleed valves. And I will kill the engine. There we are. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hong Kong. There it is. The younger brother just over there. Beautiful, beautiful aircraft. Let's take a look at the replay. I'll get the lights on for the replay. I will just finish the flight on Volanta. I actually think it was a decent landing. A bit floaty, but not too bad. Killed the ATC. Let's take a look at the replay, and then that will be the end of the stream. So bring it back. Did this yesterday at Hong Kong. Take a look at this landing. Oh, that's loud. We weren't entirely stable, but yeah, it just floated it. Oscillated in the roll a little bit. Oh, beautiful. Not sure why it goes down to like 9 FPS. It only does it in Hong Kong when I go to like fast playback on the replay for some reason. It's really, really weird. Beautiful sounds. Take a look at a few more angles. Really like to send the sim to like 9 FPS for some reason. I'll tell you, the sounds are fantastic. Look at that floating and then overcorrecting on the roll. But what a plane. That's too far away. You could maybe do this. And we'll do maybe a wing view or something. And then we'll call it a night, I think. Been a long stream. 3 hours and 22 minutes. But a lot of fun. I tell you, this aircraft handles beautifully. It really does. Look at the suspension. Oh, fantastic. Really good stuff. And then we'll go for a wing view and then that'll be it. Appreciate all of you being here. Gotta be a nice little wing view like this. Straight down. There it goes. Interesting, the slats, I didn't realise the slats do that. I wonder if that's just a replay thing. Didn't realise the slats retract like that. Beautiful. Alright, well, we're going to call it a night there. Thank you everyone for being here. That was a lot of fun. That really, really was. We'll be back tomorrow. Again, we'll be in the freighter. And we'll be taking a look at this aircraft yet again on a different route. So, thank you all very much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.